Yeah, there you go. 21 Pilots and Stressed Out. Man, someone on Twitter gave me that one, and I can't find it now. My Twitter just blew up. I lost all my likes. I don't know how that just happened.
Likes?
Yeah, I like my shit, and then I go back and pick a song. Everyone's always suggesting songs, and if I like it, I'll like it. I'll like it on Twitter, and then in the morning I'll go through and pick one of them. And so I want to give this guy credit, but I now can't find it.
That's like a hell of a tune.
You know who you are. Yeah, there were, I guess the guys around here were telling me. I don't really know much about 21 Pilots, but they're playing 2 nights at Madison Square Garden. They're sold out.
Ooh, Jesus.
So they're a big fucking deal.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool song, though.
I'm an older gentleman.
Me too.
With what? Expensive tastes, as they say?
Well, yeah, but I miss a lot of what the younger people are enjoying.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of these things and try to open myself up to it and not be so closed off.
Oh, good for you, Jimmy.
That's right. I want to get that young demo to come out and see Jim Norton.
They were. I mean, I saw Jimmy over the weekend. They're hanging in there. They're in their 30s.
It's funny.
Well, I would say your demo is definitely in the mid-30s.
Mid-30s, which is it's been that way
solid.
for years. Yeah, it's not like it's all like 48 and older. I mean, the majority. There's a lot. I noticed that too. And there's guys bringing their kids, which I kind of like. I like seeing that. Though.
You like that?
I love it.
I mean, everyone was beyond cool to me when I went and saw Jimmy, and I talked to everybody, took a million pictures, and really just got the vibe, man, of the Jim Norton crowd, and actually a lot of them listened to the radio show. But I didn't like seeing the older guys.
Oh, really?
I mean, I liked it, obviously, but it was depressing. Guys with very gray hair with a young stud with them, and I'm like, this is my son. He now listens to the show, and I've been listening for 18 years. And I'm like, well, how old is your son? He's 17. I'm like, he wasn't even fucking born when you started listening to us.
Yeah.
Right.
There were a few of those that came through the Jim Norton line.
I've seen that a lot in the store. Like a lot of guys who are teenagers with their dads. But I always like seeing it because I'm like, I appreciate them passing. If it translates,
yeah,
good. Like if someone was 17, because me and my dad didn't listen to the same stuff.
Oh no.
We shared Imus together.
You shared Imus together.
That's why I like Imus. Yeah, because me and my dad would listen to it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now you get to go on Imus from time to time.
Yeah, I don't see him. He's just in another state, but it's just.
He's in New Mexico.
He is, yeah.
Good, living his life and doing a little radio on the ranch.
Yep.
We got Mark Norman in the studio. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, good to be here. One night stand to radio.
You had a one-night stand and right to radio.
Yeah, I feel like a champ, and Roland got me a car.
You're living the life.
Yeah, it felt good to just pull my pants up, kiss her on the forehead, and walk right into an Uber. Was
she at your house or you were over?
Her place.
Her place.
So I had to get her address last night, which felt weird.
Where were you guys going?
Get it? Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So comedy, one-night stand, car, right to radio.
Yeah.
That, you are living the life, my friend.
I feel good.
That's nice. Blow a load, fucking take a nap, get into an Uber, and I get it.
Blew a load in her. IUD.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're trusting.
She's a mess.
You're a trusting soul.
How do you know? Yeah, exactly.
You
How
can
do you
feel
know
that
IUD?
thing in there.
Oh, yeah, in the back.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
They're terrible.
That is true.
I love them.
No,
you don't like them?
Actually, you feel them.
That's true. But I kind of like feeling it. It makes you feel like your dick's long. You know?
Just bumping into the trampoline in the
Yeah.
back.
I just keep thinking it smells. The trampoline, which takes load after load, and they can't pull it out and wash it.
No, it's in there for 5 years.
Yeah, so basically...
What?
Yeah.
They leave it in there for 5 years.
Yeah, you can pick how long you want it in.
I didn't know that.
If you go to lick a box, she might have showered yesterday, but that IUD still has fucking load on it from someone.
Yeah, that's true.
The IUD is fucking awful.
That thing's got to be caked with load.
You ever stick your tongue in a sink stopper? That's what it's like.
Oh, God. What a way to start the show.
She needs a roto-rooter.
It's a fucking sink stopper in her pussy.
Right.
Oh, my God. Good morning, everybody.
There it is. That's it.
That's it right there, huh?
Yeah, that thing was touching my pee hole.
I don't, you know what? I thought it was shaped like, this is how stupid I am. I thought it was shaped like a thimble, like a cup that kind of caught it. All right, I'm dumb. How does it work?
I didn't realize it looked like that either.
Yeah, it looks like a little mini crossbow.
Jesus. Wow.
Okay.
It looks like the front of a great steakhouse.
Is that easy to put in?
Is that the Texas Longhorns?
Is that easy to put in?
No, I mean, the doc's got to do it.
Oh,
but,
the doctor's got to put it in.
Yeah, she's not getting that in the
I
back
don't know
alley.
anything about an IUD,
Is this an IUD string that just sits in there for 5 years?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Stop it. You know how fucking awful that must smell? You ever get a vagina that just smells really bad?
Oh, yeah.
Once in a
Last night.
while? That's probably
night.
what it is. IUD pussy.
You had one. You had a bad one last night.
No, I'm joking. She was fresh as a daisy. She's only like 24.
All right.
So she's still pretty young.
Ah, look at that thing. Fucking
Yeah.
the string hanging off it.
I know. I can feel that streamer.
Terrible.
You're very trusting, Mark.
What do you mean?
You're a good looking guy.
Yeah.
And you're assuming that they're not going to take your seed and
You make a baby.
And make a
looks
baby.
Like that looks like a bug zapper for cum. The joint just hangs there. Fucking IUDs are awful.
Well, I was
my
always
dick's a moth.
paranoid. I barely let him go
Really?
inside. Barely.
Oh, what a feeling, though.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing to fucking seed it.
Yeah.
But when I was coming up in the big leagues, I was always scared.
Well, the 70s were a different time.
What, the 70s?
Yeah, they were. He's not wrong.
He is wrong.
But
Damn it, I started in the 80s.
one time I blew a load on her stomach, because I like, I don't know how dirty we want to get here.
Well,
But
it's too late.
yeah, you're all right.
Might as
I
well
compared a
commit.
vagina to a sink stopper.
Yeah, it's a little
Good
too late
point.
now, Mark.
Plow right ahead, my friend.
I like shooting it everywhere and being like shooting web and being Spider-Man and getting it all over the place. And I pulled out and shot it on her jugs once. She's like, "What are you doing? What are you crazy?" I was like, "What? It's fun." She's like, "That's why I got the IUD. Go inside." I was like, "Oh shit, sorry."
You want to be like a Wild West sheriff.
Yeah,
Just shooting everywhere.
right. I like the silly putty. I like going all over.
Oh, that's
Did you feel stupid when she told you that?
Yeah, she goes. I jizzed and I was like, "Oh." And she goes, "What are you doing?" That's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is.
You just assume the girl wants to be sprayed.
Yeah, I thought that was all part of it.
I thought you ladies like being sprayed.
Yes, I've seen the porno.
Right.
You guys write that, right, ladies?
Well, that's the scary part about looking at porno. Then you just assume that maybe the person wants it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, sometimes it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul,
How does it work?
can I get some milk in my coffee? Sorry. That
How does the IUD work?
Sorry that I broke the fourth wall. Huh?
How does the IUD work?
I don't know.
Something with the copper, that copper coil.
Oh, good. That's what you want. A fucking Bunsen burner in your box. Stop. The fucking IUD.
Hey,
Just
it works.
drink it.
What about the female condom?
Yeah, yuck.
The who?
Aren't those giant?
Yeah, they're terrible.
Can I see the female
It's like
condom?
a parachute.
Wait, I don't know. Is that a sponge?
Supposed to lick through it too, protects you from it. It's just a nightmare.
That's a dental dam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, dental dam.
I don't know. I think the female condom is ridiculous,
Would
too.
you use a dental dam?
No.
IUD contains same ingredients as birth control pill. That's Steve in Tampa.
I want to take a pill.
And then Frank in the Bronx got 70 and 80-year-old guys to listen to the show religiously. Jesus.
Oh, well, we lost them.
Yeah.
We don't need them. They don't buy anything anymore. We need the people that are still buying shit.
Yeah.
You never want to see your demo get up into the they don't buy shit anymore
Right.
demo.
Yeah.
Ooh, call that the Vic Henley market.
Poor Vic.
I love Vic. Oh, how was Sasha?
He was awesome.
Man, that's a get.
If you wanted to come in, you just got to fucking do the old text.
No, I just saw it later. I
yeah.
slept in and I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was just so funny.
Yeah, he's the coolest.
He is just so funny. We put up a couple videos on the YouTube channel.
Oh, great.
Opie Radio, if you want to check him out later. But he talks about Trump getting AIDS, and what else did he talk about? Oh, the ridiculous ending to Bruno with the sort of riot and the MMA thing.
That's right, yeah.
It was great.
He's one of those guys, whenever I talk about him, somebody goes, he's really smart. Like, yeah, comics can be smart.
Yeah, of course you guys.
Sasha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, he's really.
Most of you guys are very smart.
I know, but
Most of you guys have an intelligence to you.
thank you.
And then you got a few duds out there, a few dummies among you.
Right. But even the dummies are smart, like DeStefano, smart dummy,
Yeah.
But he knows what he's doing.
Yes. He wanted to come in yesterday to see Sasha. We just didn't have enough room yesterday.
Yeah.
But then I just said you should have came in, so that doesn't
Yeah,
make sense either.
exactly.
So I probably would have told you we don't have room.
Uh-huh.
Now it would have been awkward today.
Yeah.
Just a little jam packed in here.
It was very packed. It was
Today
fun.
it is again too.
Yeah, today we got Mark Norman, of course. Gilbert Gottfried is coming in today.
Hey, all right.
And then we got Dick Cavett.
Woo!
Talking about old timers. This guy's a legend.
Yes.
He talked to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Every single person you can imagine from back in the day. And we talked to him years ago, Dick Cavett. He was great. He was great to us. And then a guy that's from my hometown, Gerry Cooney.
Coon.
He's the big celebrity from my hometown of Huntington, Long Island. It was all about Gerry Cooney when I was growing up. Gerry Cooney sightings.
Yeah.
People would get very excited, and the word would get out that they saw Gerry Cooney in town.
He's a lovely guy.
He's awesome. You did JB Smooth's
show with him, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was a good episode. What is he promoting?
I don't know. He does a radio show here.
They got a boxing channel or something?
They do, yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to do it, but it's just been hard to coordinate the actual gig, so I was like, why didn't he come in here for it? Like, it's easier to coordinate this.
And do they get a lot of the old timers on?
I don't know. I'm imagining they do. I mean, whoever they want, I'm sure Cooney can get, who still does press. I'm sure he's had Larry Holmes on, and
because a lot of these,
whoever he wants.
A lot of these fighters have great personalities, so I think it's a pretty good idea to have a boxing channel.
Yeah, they're good interviews. Like, they get a little punchy sometimes. Like, Cooney is perfect. Like, you talk to him,
he's still there.
Very sharp, yeah.
And he tries to help fighters.
He does.
He's a good guy. He tries to raise money for some of these fighters that just don't have any money left.
I first met him I should have brought my picture and I just forgot. Like, at this boxing event, my buddy Chris Patrick has this other friend John, he's a big buyer. They went to this boxing. This is where I got all those signatures on that glove.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I got LaMotta, fucking Larry Holmes. Everybody was there. Mitch Blood Green.
Damn.
I was so happy to meet Mitch Blood Green.
Wow.
Good old Mitch Green.
He's a frightening guy, man.
You were allowed to call him Mitch Blood Green.
Oh, I just said hello, Mitch, and
he's scary.
Yeah, I got a photo with him, but he has a menacing air about him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He scared Tyson in the street. That's how you know he's a fucking menacing guy. Tyson's afraid of him.
Is he Brooklyn?
I don't know. He might be Harlem. Let's ask Gerry.
Yeah.
The story of Mitch Blood Green in Tyson's book is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Where this guy, Tyson kept knocking him out and thinks he's finally done with this guy, and he just would keep coming at him over and over again.
In the street, yeah.
At one point, Tyson thought he killed him. He was out cold, and then Tyson's getting ready to leave the situation, and then he gets up again and charges after Tyson. It's an amazing story in Tyson's book.
Those are the scariest guys, the ones that won't go down.
Yeah.
That's scarier to me than a guy who can knock you out.
That's me and Mitch Blood Green.
Whoa.
He's smoking a cigarette. So you see can you see that?
That's hilarious.
My little fat head in a cloud of smoke.
How old is this? Oh, that's awesome. Wow, he looks you don't want to mess with that guy.
He's huge.
You could tell he's just a street fighter.
An air of menace. One of those guys that you don't feel there's a professional boundary if you give him a problem. But the size of his hands, I mean, I want to say that's 2007 or 6, maybe even, 6.
Speaking of air of menace, I was walking out of a CVS, and there was a kid that was walking in, and everyone turned around. He just had that air. It's so funny you just mentioned that, because I was thinking sort of that yesterday. Some people just have it.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just a totally normal kid, but man, everyone turned around like, what is that guy's deal?
Yeah.
And he had his pants down to a point I didn't understand.
I've seen that, yeah.
I didn't understand.
Right, like it's on the knees.
Yes.
You're like, Jesus, man, how do you walk?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
But he knew how to walk with I think that's what made him so menacing. It's like, how do you walk normally and keep your pants from literally hitting the ground?
How do you fight when you're dressed like? I think that's a prison style, like because you can't, a lot of times can't have belts. Yeah. So I think that comes from, a lot of the styles come from prison. I don't get why you'd want to fight that way.
I've seen it a little bit where you could still, walk, whatever. It was so far down. I'm like, I don't understand. Is there some kind of harness? What's going on?
I think it's a belt that is held around and they walk a certain way. It's really ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous, and I can't.
It was pretty much all of it. I'll just call them underpants. His underpants were completely showing.
Yeah, of
boxer
course.
briefs. That's how far down this was.
Yeah, which ironically, it's going to sound weird, but like in the black community, there's a lot of homophobia. But what's gayer than that? Like, I'm just showing off my boxers and my ass.
Yeah, your cheeks look good in that style.
Yes.
The cheeks always look good.
I saw a prison doc once, and they talked about if you wear your pants like that, it means you have a boyfriend. That's what I saw in the doc.
Really?
Google that. That was like a thing.
Yeah, those are all the way down around, like...
He's got 2 pairs of shorts on.
Yeah.
That keeps them from falling...
I don't understand. I don't understand how how you can walk and they don't fall completely down.
It looks ridiculous. And I know older people say that about younger styles.
Yeah.
But your pants your pants sagging beyond your ass cheeks is silly.
Even though this was a younger kid and he looked badass, I was thinking that exact thing yesterday. I'm like, man, that just looks ridiculous.
Right.
I don't care about your style or any of the weird shit that people wear, but you just look like a dummy with your fucking pants hanging off.
I know, but Whitey hates it. It's working, you know, like it bugs you.
Yeah, they wouldn't think it looks ridiculous.
Right.
You know,
it's just a weird. I don't know how you run that way.
No.
Like if you're out in the streets, how do you run or fight when your pants are falling off? That's got to be such a hindrance.
I don't even know how.
I like a crisp pant.
Yeah, like a slack.
I don't even know how this guy walked into CVS without losing the pants.
Yeah.
Really strange.
Right, and if the pants hit the ground, you lose all your cool.
Yeah, because now you got to bend over and pull your pants back up. I think that would be a huge no-no.
But the bottom line is you want your fucking pants dragging along the dirty ground in garbage juice and that fucking stuff that falls out of the back of a garbage truck. That's what you're dragging on the cuff of your pants. Mm-hmm. So then you walk up to your thing and then you got to go home and take it off and your hands are touching that garbage juice.
But then they'd probably just throw the pants away.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
In that world, man, you wear your sneakers once, and I think you wear your pants once. I think you're just constantly going through stuff. That's the other thing I don't understand is the wearing of the sneakers once.
I've never heard that.
Oh, that's a thing.
Oh, my God.
The closet's full.
You should have known from Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah.
Oh, wear them once, don't throw them out.
Yeah, they keep them.
Hoarding. They're hoarding sneakers.
I guess so.
They wear them once, and then Patrice tried to tell me.
Collecting, they're not hoarding.
Oh, Travis said they're collecting.
That's a fine line.
Yeah.
But then
They're worth money.
But Patrice would say they were worn after one wearing.
That's bananas.
I mean, Whitey gets how many pairs of sneakers you got?
I wear one. I wear one pair, and I wear them till they fucking have holes in them, and then I buy a new pair.
That's me.
Me too.
I nowadays I got two. And I think I'm special.
Whoa, easy.
2 pairs. And I kind of rotate a little bit. Yeah.
My footwear is fucking hideous. It's always bad.
But that's Whitey.
Modi told me, he looked at my sneakers now and he said my sneakers, I look like an x-ray tech at Beth Israel.
Wow, that's great.
I was like, what a good call that was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
terrible.
You go for comfort.
I don't give a fuck what they look like.
Jimmy goes for comfort over style.
Always. On stage, it's different. Like they're black, so that's as good as it. But I'm like, I don't need to have great shoes. I had a pair that I thought was decent. And you know, and he fucking ripped those apart when he saw my special. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck were you wearing on your feet?" I just don't have good footwear. I'm sorry,
but no, I don't know. Do you look down at shoes in general?
I could care less.
Every once in a while, you'll see a woman with a nice pair of shoes, I guess, but you're not looking for it as you're walking around.
It's not. I could give a fuck. Like, if I see a guy with great sneakers, I literally could care less if he threw paint on his shoes.
Right.
I think
unimportant.
I think girls wear shoes for each other more than for the guys.
Well, I like a high heel.
Yeah,
but I don't know a nice high heel compared to a shitty one.
But you're not searching it out every day. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like if you look down and see that, you're like, oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Right? But you're not. It's not the first thing you think of doing when you see a woman.
No,
wandering around the streets of Manhattan when you're stalking them and following them.
Right.
How many blocks am I going to follow her?
Yeah, I just get a New Balance and I move on. I just get a good color combination and that's it.
Nothing better than throwing out the old pair, getting a nice new pair.
Oh,
feels so comfortable.
Great feeling.
I'm like, why don't I do this more often? Mm-hmm. Why am I going a year and a half, 2 years before I buy another pair of sneakers? Stupid.
Yeah, but I grew up in the 90s and it was like shooting people for sneakers. That was a thing. Remember that?
That's just...
yeah.
I don't
it still happens. It happened this weekend.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there was a story about some Jordan release. And, yeah.
Damn.
I mean, it happens.
Wait, they would Jordan release, and where were the guys when they got shot in Rahway? Surprised.
Yeah.
Co-owner of a New Jersey sneaker boutique was shot to death outside his own store Friday night.
Jesus.
When they're lining up.
That's not the story that I read.
Jamal Gaines.
2 stories.
Jamal Gaines gathered outside the friends and family. He's young, a 21-year-old guy to have his own shoe store.
It's a young business. Yeah, these younger guys are opening these sneaker stores.
I'm going to open
We have one in our neighborhood.
Yes.
We have one in our neighborhood, and if you're up early on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll wander around my neighborhood a little bit. You'll see these guys in their beach chairs waiting for the store to open up.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
One of those type of stores.
Jim's Sneaker Paradise.
Ooh.
I want to call it that.
It's got a good ring. The shoe fits.
But they're still shooting people for their 2 injured in shooting during Air Jordan sneaker release in Minnesota.
Damn.
Wow.
I mean, I hate to harp on it, but, black guys are so tough, but yet you're fighting over shoes. It seems so women-y. The shoes are matching the hat, then the earrings. I don't know. It's all stuff that you'd be called gay for.
That's a good point.
I thought I grew up.
Patrice taught us a lot about that. He would come in here. I'm not going to get it completely right, but let's say with a San Diego Padres hat. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were a Padres fan. Stupid whitey.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a Padres fan. It just matches my shirt.
Right. What? You're matching? I mean, I went to a public school and it was always like, I would walk in, the black guys would be like, what the fuck are you wearing? And I'm like, I don't know. Fucking t-shirt. I'm at school. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
What's a fashion runway?
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
I guess a shirt and jeans. I'm just trying to get through the day, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why do white guys emphasize that less? I'm curious as to why. Why do we give a shit less about stuff like sneakers? And like, why in the hood are certain things valued so high? There's got to be a reason for it.
I have a theory on this, and Michael Che told me this. He said, like, I could walk in a room with shoes with holes in it, and he's like, that's white privilege. I gotta look good. If a black guy has fucked up clothes on, he looks way worse. And I think he's right. Like, people already judge you for being black, and then they see you with a tattered shirt and weird jeans and fucked up shoes. Like, Bill Burr has that great bit. He's like, a black guy with dirty shoes is fucking scary. Because you're like, whoa.
Yeah, what's going on in his
What's
head?
going on here?
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, you got to step it up as a black guy, I think.
But when I see these guys come in, it was recently Jay Williams, who's becoming a quick friend of the radio show. He was dressed so nice when he was promoting his book, and I'm like, man, it would be nice to dress like that.
Is he white or black?
Black.
Okay.
But he was like dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, maybe I should like up my game a little bit. But then I was thinking, but it also looks exhausting.
Right.
It takes way too much work.
Black guys look better in stuff like that than white guys usually, unless you're a model.
You guys did the same thing when JB came in.
Yeah,
JB, you see him on TV. He's fucking he's in a catalog.
But he looked amazing too, and but then I quickly thought, but that's too much work. It's not worth it to me to put all that effort into my clothes and looking that good every day.
Right.
But these guys do it every day.
Every day. I mean, the guy from Shark Tank looked great. Whatever with the black.
Yeah, Damien.
Yeah, Damon. He looked great.
Damon, right? Yeah, they all look.
They all look great. They're all killing it.
So I don't know. I got
maybe it's a good thing. I just don't care.
This is a nice new hoodie.
Nice new hoodie. It's like saying, how about these Crocs?
Exactly.
So Chase said that's what it is. All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense, because you see a black guy with like holes in his shoes, you're like, this guy's, that's running from the police or something.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
She said that's white pro. Interesting.
So this presidential race just got even more interesting last night, huh?
What happened?
Rubio got his ass handed to him. He's just about done.
In Florida?
I know Florida's coming up in a few days. When is Florida again? Next Tuesday?
He's an embarrassment.
It's next week. Next week? Yeah, it's next week. He had a horrendous night once again.
He stinks.
And Trump had another great night.
Really?
And then Bernie Sanders surprised everybody and beat Hillary. Thank you.
Is that right?
In Michigan.
Wow.
He was not supposed to win in Michigan.
Not good for Bernie.
So Bernie is sort of still in this damn
good
thing.
For him.
Yeah. He was down by like 12 points.
Yeah, what happened?
It was a big upset.
What are they saying about this, Travis?
Because just that, predictions aren't always right. I guess,
Like, he was
take a small sample and the sample's wrong.
They didn't expect him to win Michigan. This was you're absolutely right.
He barely won it.
He beat that bitch by 2.
50-49.
Yeah, but still, he came back. It's a huge win, and it gives him life.
Yeah, but the way that this thing works, they ended up like just splitting the delegates.
Yeah, that's true. I know. You're right about that.
But it's still a big win.
And then Trump was just showing off everything he owns yesterday. This is so.
Oh, is that right?
This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Because Mitt Romney had made fun of all his companies and stuff, and saying this company went bust and this company went bust. So at his press conference yesterday, Donald Trump had everything set up on the side. He had Trump water. He had his Trump steaks. He had Trump wine. He had what else did he have up there, Paul? You remember?
Trump Magazine.
Trump Magazine. Thank you. And just went through every company slowly.
Wow.
And then he said, Trump Airline, I sold that, but I made an amazing deal when I sold that. He was just trying to show Mitt Romney how wrong he was when he went after him and his companies. And then he was bragging about all his properties all over the freaking country. And
but I guess you have to, if they're coming after you saying you don't have something, you have to. Mitt Romney's a cocksucker. Just fucking stay behind the scenes.
Of course he is.
You fucking, you lost and fine, and then you kind of ran away and hid.
Of course.
And now you pop out. They fucking, hey, we finally need you again, Mitt.
Yeah.
You fucking pop out.
He's a cocksucker for many reasons. He should have been brave enough to fucking go for it again.
Yeah.
And now he's basically saying anyone but Trump, but he's not brave enough to actually pick a candidate. But he sort of wants all those guys to stay in it, so I understand the strategy to a point.
Yeah.
He wants Kasich to win Ohio. He wants Rubio to win Florida, and he needed Cruz to win Texas.
That's how pathetic they are.
And that would hurt Trump. So I understand the strategy, but it's also bullshit that he's not picking a guy.
They're pathetic. They all have to get together and fucking.
Are they going to try to fuck Trump over? I mean, is the country going to accept that if the Republican Party just doesn't acknowledge that he's the man and tries to fucking, what do they call it, broker the convention?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, me neither.
Basically, they could say, your votes were cute, but we know better, and we're going to
nominate someone else.
Yeah, and they nominate somebody else. I think the country would lose their fucking minds.
They won't do that. I don't think they'll do that.
I think they'll lose their minds if that goes down.
Because I think that if they did that, he would run as an independent immediately and really hurt them. Mm-hmm. I hope they do that. I hope he runs as an independent. Just to watch Ted Cruz get the floor mopped with him. Just to watch that fucking crud. That fucking awful mouth. His straight mouth.
He does have a bad mouth.
Terrible mouth.
Yeah.
Not a fan of any of these guys for real. I find Trump very interesting, like a lot of people. I don't like Cruz. He's the one I don't like the most.
Yeah.
And then Bernie Sanders is kind of fun to watch. But he certainly is pretty radical.
Yeah, and he's old.
Yeah. He would have a very good chance of dying in office. We haven't had one of those in a while.
That'd be fun.
One that died of old age.
Yeah, Killer Mike is his VP.
Who's
Have you seen Killer Mike? Him and Killer Mike have they're buddies.
He's a rapper from Atlanta, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Killer Mike is, I think he's got to change his name, though.
Yeah, come on.
But
there
then
he is.
They called him out on his name, and he's like, it's because I kill on the microphone when I'm rapping. But he knows his politics, though.
How about raps really well, Mike? I like that.
Yeah, right.
Good rapper, Mike. That's nice. Got a ring to it.
Right.
Yeah, because they're like, you're
proficient, Mike.
You know what you're talking about with politics, but it's pretty rough because your name is Killer Mike.
Exactly.
And then he went through his whole explanation. This was a while ago.
Yeah.
When I'm up there, I just kill on the microphone.
Would you guys
That's
say
where I got the name from.
You've seen a couple elections in your day. Would you say this is the most exciting, craziest, cartoonish one yet?
But it's by Ross Perot in this.
Perot, right.
The Ross Perot thing was a little weird back in the day, but we haven't seen anything like this in a really long time.
It feels like reality TV.
It's unbelievable. And he's getting so many more people to vote, too.
Right.
So many more people are involved with the process this time around because of Trump.
Yeah.
And then he's just holding court. He doesn't even have anything written down. He just goes up there with a couple bullet points and just works the crowd. It's pretty amazing to watch.
It is. He's a pro.
And he also knows that these news channels are going to take him every time he talks. So he just takes his sweet old time up there. He's just getting free press every single day.
Right.
And these guys, to get that same type of attention, they got to spend a shitload of money. And he's getting it all for free.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a phenomenon. It's amazing.
It's so true. And I'm not a Trump guy, but I think it's kind of fucked up. Like the cover of the Post?
Yeah.
It's like appalling.
Daily News.
Daily News.
Daily News hates him. They've been going after him.
Is that?
hard.
That seems fucked up to me. Like, you're for Trump, you're a piece of shit. Like, well, Jesus, that's not fair.
They're awful.
For the people that don't know, during the press conference last night down there in Florida, Trump saw Paul O'Neill was in the audience. And then was basically saying, Paul's one of my guys. So now the Daily News went with a Paul O'Neill. Appalling, but a Paul O'Neill.
Right.
They're working off that. Yeah. Yes, Kenny.
There's another radio host that does a political show.
Yeah.
And, I talked to him about the election. And he says that Trump can't win because it's a simple math equation that he'll never get the Hispanic vote.
Right. We'll see.
Interesting.
They also said he wouldn't get the nomination.
Yeah.
Ay caramba.
And they said a lot of Spanish people like him because he's keeping out illegals and like they worked hard to get him. But that's what he says, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, but because I told him he's going to eat crow when Trump becomes president. I'm like busting his chops a little bit.
Yeah.
He's adamant that Trump is not winning.
Well, I mean, Trump
might be right.
Trump could deliver New York, which would be ridiculous.
Wow.
It's not Pete, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, Pete's very liberal though.
Yeah.
Pete's a good guy, but he's very liberal, so he might be a little slanted.
Look, I mean, there was a time I didn't believe any of this either, but now I think anything's possible with Trump. It's got to be said.
Yeah.
If you listen to some of our old shows, it would be pretty embarrassing what we were saying about Trump.
Right.
We're like, oh, this is cute, but this is gonna he's gonna fade out quick. Mm-hmm. All of us were wrong. Just about all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you covered this, but do you read the CK email?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Well written. I don't really agree with the fact that Trump's dangerous or that he's Hitlerish. I mean, I knew what Louis was saying though, but it was well written. And look, he's got his opinion on it, and good for him.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't hurt Trump though.
Nah.
No, I mean,
He's got a
it
couple
didn't
more
hurt
wins
either one of those guys.
under his belt.
Yeah.
Louis always has a different angle on things. An interesting angle too.
Yeah.
A clever angle.
I got the new Horace and Pete script, and that's all in it.
This?
Yeah.
No kidding.
He added that in.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in that episode?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I still haven't started Horace and Pete.
Check it out, but put some time aside, and it's heavy.
No, I know.
This week's episode?
Next week. Not this one, the one after that.
But to finish the headline in the Daily News, Paul O'Neill.
Yeah.
So appalling. It's a little, that's a stretch by the Daily News. And then it says Trump showers love on newest member of Hate Brigade, ex-Yankee hothead Paul.
Wow.
Hate Brigade.
And then the Post is like, fuck all that. Let's talk about the homeless woman that has 20 grocery carts, 14 laundry carts, 8 suitcases, 2 plastic crates, and 1 dolly.
Now that's a news article.
Of course, I'd rather read this.
Yeah.
It says Sonia Gonzalez hauls her block-long train of junk along 10th Avenue in Hell's Kitchen yesterday, taking hours to go foot by foot. I go all day, she said.
Boy, I've seen her.
You've seen this one?
I believe so. Giant, long procession of things. Yeah.
Wow.
And then what does she do? Does she take one cart across the street at a time? And
I guess so, yeah.
And then puts them all together when she's moving uptown or downtown?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Insane people really work.
And then you look at these, you look what's in the shopping carts, and
it's my act.
None of it, a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. None of it makes sense. But these people and how their minds work, they see a little thing and they just know they have to have it.
I can't help. We could use this for good somehow if we harness this, because the hustle is there, but it's just for nothing.
They should find an artist and just take her 14 carts of garbage, 20 grocery carts, 14 laundry carts, 8 suitcases, 2 plastic crates, and try to make some kind of art project out of it. Can you imagine someone with an
It looks like all she's carrying is bottles. And
I like to buy the whole thing for $50.
Throw it out the river.
Yeah, just throw it in the river.
In front of her.
Yeah, it's just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I used to follow a guy on the Upper West Side that just had a grocery cart that it had to be 300 to 400 pounds of stuff.
Yeah.
He would lean all the way over to try to push it, and it would take him so long just to go a block. And I followed him one day. I had to just to see, and he just wanders around the Upper West Side with no real destination in mind.
But what about the Asian ladies with the cans? They're making money.
They're amazing.
But how much could they be making?
Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty good business if you don't really have, job skills. We have a lady. We have a lady near us, and she wears a little I feel like she's from Peru or something. She has one of those kind of what's the name of the hat? The bola, whatever the hat is. And look it up for real.
Like a turban?
I forget the name of the hat, but she goes through these bags and she's so efficient. It's amazing. And she ties them back together and she gets her cans out and she hauls away a lot of fucking cans.
Yeah.
That adds up after a while.
I guess. Yeah, but you want to be like, if you worked at, the Gap, You'd be a lot less work, and
True.
would you make more money? Probably.
You're looking up African hats. It's not African.
What was it?
I said Peru.
Like a Peruvian hat, or that's the hat.
Wow.
Not that one. That one.
That?
Yes.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
Yeah, she wears one of those. What's the name of that?
It's fucking Roland. Nice, I got a little hat too.
Peruvian Roland.
Yeah.
I got a donkey with some coffee on it.
Collecting cans.
Collecting cans. Guests are piling up outside. They have cans.
Go see Deadpool.
Yeah, if I go see Deadpool, I got fucking Oliver Hardy hat.
Yeah, it's like an Oliver Hardy hat. There you go. I forgot the name of it. Whatever. But she goes through her cans. It's a real business for her.
Yeah.
Real business, and she doesn't fuck up the bags. Because I guess she knows if she fucks up the bags outside a building, they're going to chase her away. So
Right.
she keeps it all nice and clean, and no one is bothered by it because she tidies up, as they say.
Yeah.
So, but that's it on the election, I guess. We have any clips from last night?
We have the Paul O'Neill. That's really all that.
He looks good, Paul O'Neill. That's all I took out of this
Yeah.
biased daily news cover is that fucking Paul O'Neill looks exactly the same as he did in 2000.
Great head of hair.
Holy shit.
When was the last time you played?
I don't know, man. I remember when
been
they
out of the
won in
game for
2000. His dad had just died. And actually, I remember that after they won, he just kind of, he fucking broke down and cried as they were, it was a really stressed, they didn't know if he would make it through the playoffs. I think it was the 2000. Awesome.
He's 53 years old.
What's that?
Wow.
He retired in 2001?
His last NBA, Major League Baseball appearance.
He's been gone 15 years, Paul O'Neill?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
O'Neill swings. Oh my God. I can't believe that's 15 years ago.
Wow.
Also on an episode of Seinfeld.
Yes. Trump will get screwed at the convention. This guy can explain a brokered convention. I was a bouncer for Mitch Blood Green.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Really?
Let me take this call from Mike in New York. Good morning, Mike.
Yo, what's up? What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Hey, how tough do you have to be a bodyguard for Mitch Green? Jesus.
Well, you know what? I got into it because I used to bounce at different strip clubs. So I got hired to work with him.
And where did you guys go?
Man, he used to bounce all over the place. Different strip clubs, all over the place. I mean, he wasn't the most angelic person. He used to jump around in different parts of the city. But I remember the night when he met up with Tyson, and Tyson beat his ass.
Well, you were there that night, or you just remember what had happened?
No. I was there that night.
Where was that?
That actually happened. It started in a couple different places because they had issues. Those two guys had issues, and it ended up happening in Manhattan, in Harlem. And
what was the store? There was a store.
A clothing store, right?
Yeah.
It was a clothing store that they were both going to the store, and they.
What store was it though? It was a famous store in Harlem.
To tell you the truth, I don't remember the name.
Okay.
To be honest, they were there getting. I was a bodyguard. I just
okay.
Get out of trouble. I don't remember every name that we went to.
It was Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan.
Exactly, Dapper Dan's. They were in there getting clothes, and they went outside. They had an argument, and Tyson lit him up.
Do you still see Mitch Green at all, or no?
Not really. We were not in touch anymore because I'm in a different type of business right now.
Okay.
But at that time, we were. I was involved in that business as far as bodyguards. I was working with him and other boxers and other people.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty frightening guy.
Yeah.
No, you know what? He's not really frightening. He just was. Him and Tyson had issues.
Well, that's obvious.
He was pretty normal, but when he got tuned up, he was a problem.
What was the issue he had with Tyson?
To tell you the truth, they were both basically from the same area in Brooklyn. Of course, if you know that Tyson was from Brooklyn, and they were both from the same area, so it was kind of like a macho thing, like him as más macho.
All right. Well, thanks for the call there, Mikey.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, not a problem, man. You guys, keep it real.
All right. We do.
Yeah, that's
We do.
Yeah, he's a big guy, man.
Yeah, he's a big, scary guy. Let me take this call from Sean in Maryland. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Yeah, just when some guys are talking about Trump may or may not win the Republican nominee. Even if he doesn't win, I'm hoping that people can look to the future and say, well, if he didn't win here, maybe we can start from the bottom up. And you kind of know that's what the status quo is thinking as far as the government. Because the next time a senatorial election comes around or you elect your congressman, hopefully they can start with a different party at that point, and then you'll have a different reign, to where when a new presidential candidate comes in that's not from the two parties, that then maybe they'll get, we'll make some progress there instead of it having to be from the top down. Maybe we go from the bottom up.
Well, the one thing, he's changed the game, obviously, and the next time you see a politician with those sound bites and that bullshit, no one is going to be paying attention to that crap. He just made this whole game a lot more real. Where you got to
scared,
huh?
They are scared. You can see how scared they are because the media is just, everybody has to get their little comment in. Oh, Trump did this, and then this happened, but it'll never. They get that little quip in every time. It's like, seriously, you're so slanted. I don't even want to listen to you anymore.
Exactly. That's what I do enjoy about Trump. He completely has called everybody out on their bullshit. And they can't go back to, business as usual anymore.
That's right. The good old boys network hopefully will finally fizzle out.
All right. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Yeah, and Trump won Hawaii as well.
Wow.
How many delegates is that? 2? How many delegates does Hawaii get? They don't get 19. A lot, right? Oh, it's 19. Okay. So the delegate count right now is 458 for Trump and 359 for Cruz. Interesting. But now we move up north where, Trump is just going to completely crush in general.
Did you see that thing where they showed what porn each state likes?
No.
Oh
yeah, I did actually.
That was fun.
Or was it a fetish? The fetish they like?
No, it's like most searched porn.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Did we do this on the show?
No.
Oh, it's
I
hilarious.
remember seeing the chart.
There's a couple that are really, really strange.
Yeah.
If you could find that.
It was, yeah. There it is on the left. See where it says lesbian? That's the one.
Yeah, the stepsister thing.
Yeah.
A couple states are into the stepsister porn.
Is that Utah around there? Or North Dakota?
Yeah, the Dakotas.
You think it's the Dakotas? And then there's a stepmom. Then you got cartoon porn, stepsister again, a lot of lesbian.
Lesbian stuff is a hit.
Dominating.
Is dominating, sweeping across the Southwest especially, from Texas all the way up to California and beyond.
Well, I figure dudes like chicks, and every girl I've dated loves lesbian porn. So they got all angles.
Ebony is in a bunch of them, too. That's in 3.
Ebony, black in Louisiana.
The lesbians would kill Ebony in the general election, though.
Yeah. What's the difference between black and ebony?
Nothing.
That's a very good question.
I think ebony's a little classier.
I don't know. Let's find out the difference between black porn and ebony porn.
Black's
another
like
way.
Mitch Blood Green, and ebony's like Stacey Dash.
Yeah. Just another word for it.
Yeah.
Go back to that map. I want to see what New York's into. New York doesn't... Oh, a lesbian, yes. MILF.
Oh, I love MILF. That's my go-to.
Do you like MILF?
Yeah. I like an old bag.
No.
Oh, yeah.
MILF porn in Rhode Island.
But I like it all.
Rhode Island loves MILF. Maine loves stepsister porn.
Stepsister's great, too.
Let's see. Then you got... what's the green? More stepmom porn?
Yeah, that's hot.
So there's not a lot of categories. It's the country's into stepmom, lesbian, stepsister, cartoon, black, and ebony. That's it.
And Louisiana.
Those are the choices.
One Asian.
Where's the Asian?
Hawaii.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that down there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, those Peloponnesian weirdos.
Stepmom, though.
Stepmom's hot. The best is stepmom teaching daughter.
I like that. I like that.
So hot.
I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Please.
Teaching daughter. I saw one where Aunt Peg played her mom. It was Vista Valley PTA, Aunt Peg, and it was Juliet Anderson. And the daughter was played by Dorothy LeMay, who was in Taboo. She was very sexy.
Oh, Taboo.
Yeah. But they were mother and daughter.
Yeah.
And they had a lesbian scene. After the young girl fucks the boyfriend of the mother, like I think it was Jamie Gillis. She's supposed to be like 16 and porn. They could play that back then. And then the mother and her have a lesbian scene at the end. It was fucking
very.
It was sprinkler cum.
Wow.
A fucking sprinkler shot.
That was a day where you weren't edging, huh?
Oh, my God.
No edging needed after seeing that one.
Not for the old Vista Valley PTA.
for the kid. Ebony is black females. Black is also black female, but also black dick.
Aha.
So Ebony is basically black lesbians.
Oh.
Right? Because there's no dick in there.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, come on, Troy. Let me go to Troy. How does he know this? Troy in Tampa, how do you know this?
From years of searching. I mean, it's experience. If you type in black and then you put in white after that, you're going to see a lot of black guys fucking white girls. But if you type in ebony white, then you just unlock the cheat code for white guys fucking black girls.
Oh, interesting.
Well, we popped ebony porn in the old Google search, and boy, is there a lot of black dick.
What if you just put in white guys fucking black girls?
Yeah, there's a lot of black dick in this ebony porn.
How about Ebony and Ivory? You going to try to jerk off and fucking Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder come up dicking each other's ass?
They didn't have to do that.
That song?
Yeah.
No,
it's catchy, but they didn't have to do that. And the video is
side
really
by
bad.
side on my piano keyboard. Oh, Lord, why won't we? Oh, it stunk. Why can't we?
It was catchy.
It was a terrible song.
It was a catchy song. But they just didn't need to do this. I don't know.
No, they were awful. Ebony and I think almost something that it could go like by people too.
Right. Oh, you can see.
Piano.
They're both wearing black and white clothes. The keys are black and white.
Yeah, but you notice the fucking. But the ebony keys aren't fucking hitting the ivory keys over the head, taking their stuff.
Can I say a dumb thing about pianos that I'm probably going to get shit for?
Please.
Should they?
Why not label the keys? Why do the keys just have to be plain sheet white? Wouldn't it be a lot easier if we labeled them?
Not a bad idea.
They wouldn't look as good, though.
Is that all it is?
I'm guessing. Sure.
Aesthetics?
Or at least when you're starting to learn the damn thing.
Yeah. Give me a label.
Maybe they have that already. Maybe they have tiny little stickies you can put on your piano to figure the shit out.
Your piano.
Your piano, right, your piano.
Imagine a computer keyboard without the A, the E, and the F.
It's not a dumb thought.
All right. I'm just saying.
It really isn't a dumb thought.
Everyone could learn the piano tomorrow if we just labeled the fucking thing. But I think these fags have their secret code on the piano, and they want to keep it.
Well, I mean, I'm embarrassed to say, but I took a typing class back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And you weren't allowed to look down at the keys.
Ah.
How stupid is that?
Yeah.
Well, that's how you learn, I guess.
And you would get penalized. I'm like, but, I mean, if you look down, you know where the H is.
Right. Boy, the 40s.
Instead of feeling it. The 40s. Help me out here.
I'm joking. But
and I took it because it was an easy class, and they kept saying, you'll need this someday. I'm like, no, who the fuck's going to need to fucking type?
Right.
Or obviously text. Let's update the language. But now everyone is.
Yeah.
And I still suck at it. I still just do one or two fingers tops.
I do the same thing. Was this before or after you sold typewriter ribbon? But yeah, I'm still a 2-key man myself.
Oh, it's you don't need that skill. Mm-hmm. You get around, you figure it out, right?
Yeah, it's like learn how to spell now. You don't need that anymore.
We're looking at a picture of a piano. That's true too.
Yeah,
Cursive.
Cursive's out.
That's true too.
Yeah,
and I sucked at cursive, so I'm good now.
There you go.
I never wrote. I always wrote in block print.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Always.
Block print?
It's pretty much all capitals. All fucking capitals. But
what a psychopath.
But if it was the start of a sentence, that letter would be a little larger.
Right.
And then I would go, oh yeah, that's how I always wrote. I said, fuck that. I'm sure that means something really bad.
Can we have a language expert?
I'm sure that means something really bad.
What is it when somebody...
I hated cursive, though. I'll tell you right the fuck now.
No, I understand, but...
That was brutal for me.
What does it mean when somebody only writes in block letters?
I don't think it's good.
No.
I don't think I want to know the answer to this one.
How far away from just like bouncing up and down on a cushion are you?
You can't peel a banana, you're just squishing it.
Yeah.
But people would always say I have good penmanship. See, look, I wrote down 21 pilots that way today and stressed.
Oh, that is good.
See, it's good penmanship, though.
Yeah.
But that's how I've always written my entire life.
Thing.
You do?
Yep. All block letters.
I think it's the easiest way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Wow, hold on. Uncomfortable to according to handwriting experts, all caps writers are uncomfortable talking about their personal lives.
Jesus, Whoa. There you go.
At least in interpersonal relationships. They do not want others to know about themselves. Often, such writers do not express their emotions in public.
Jesus.
Wow, they nailed it.
All right.
Nah, I'm joking.
Wow, they did.
No, they kind of nailed it a little bit.
What's it say about...
I keep to myself a little bit more than the average person there, Mark Norman.
Oh, no, I write
which
in...
makes this doing a radio show kind of stupid.
I write in cursive and cursive and letter and non-cursive, so I guess we know what that means.
I do the same
You go
thing.
back and forth, do you?
Well, yeah, they say
In
that.
your writing, I mean.
Yeah, a lot of times.
You're writing.
Jim likes an I that can sometimes be a Y.
Do you really write in both?
Yes, I do. Like in and out, like a V that looks like a Y. That would have been better, Joe. Yeah, I do. Like I'll start like a capital, lowercase, all over, switching in and out of cursive, and
as you're writing in one thing.
Yeah, like
that's even. I think that's stranger. Come on.
Down to
At least I'm
yeah,
consistent.
That's what I do too.
half cursive, half whatever.
I hated cursive.
Because cursive, the problem with cursive is people start adding their own interpretation to it.
Right.
You know, so you're like, is that an F or a G? And it's all over the place.
Yeah, why'd you have to pick those letters?
Cursive was always just stupid.
Cohesive, yeah.
It was just dumb. And you would have to practice your cursive letters when I was growing up. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. It's
I
the
don't
same.
even, you know, and the only time you use cursive is to sign your name. And of course, that's just a
Yeah,
mess.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Kenny doesn't write
That's just
cursive
a mess
either.
Huh?
Kenny doesn't write cursive either.
I've tried, but it's I don't know. I don't like it. Never liked it.
That's another thing. How long till signatures are out? Because they're so silly. You can't tell if it's yours or anything.
Well, there's ways to do it on the phone now. My Kelsey, my friend, has an app where she can do signatures now that the faxing. Stop with faxing. What am I mad?
Faxing? I think
done,
we have
isn't it?
stopped with faxing.
No, they have it for contracts and stuff.
Barely.
Yeah, they all want you to fax it.
Barely, though, Jimmy.
I simply refuse.
Faxing is just about done. Whoa. What does it say about Jimmy that he goes back and forth with his writing?
Yeah, it's all over the place. I have terrible penmanship. Penpersonship. I mean, that's how I like to make everybody feel included, you know.
It's a person hole.
I think you should choose one, Jimmy. I think you should choose a writing style.
Yeah,
I think
can't.
you should choose a writing style, sir.
I can't.
I'm the same way. Look at that. Cursive here, print here.
I mean, the same word.
Oh, interesting.
Mixing it up in the same word, I think that's way stranger than what
I'm sure it's a sign of mental
what I got
illness.
going on. Yeah, what does that mean? Writing in cursive and block letters? Is it block letters?
Or regular, no, lowercase, uppercase, all of them.
It's just everything.
Will sometimes be mistaken as toilets. Oh, wow, that's accurate.
I don't know. We're looking it up. Well, maybe we'll get the answer. Let me say hi to this guy as we try to find that answer. Steve in Queens, good morning, sir.
Yes!
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Yeah, I think that Trump's going to get screwed at the convention. If you add up the delegates of the other three guys, it comes out to about 550 delegates, and Trump has 450. He's not on target to get enough delegates, even though he's winning every one of these primaries. So I think they're going to, the other guys, the party guys, are going to get together, Cruz, Rubio, and Kasich, and they're going to throw their delegates behind somebody that the party nominates, you know, which could be a Romney. And that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, then they deserve whatever fucking hunk of shit they get.
Yeah, because then Trump's got the whole party by the balls. Because Trump's the type of guy who's going to basically say, "Oh, go fuck yourselves." He'll go third party, and that's a guaranteed win for Hillary or Sanders. Most likely Hillary. But then Trump was hinting last night during his press conference if Hillary's allowed to run for the presidency. He threw that little nugget out there again. Like there might be problems coming down for Hillary, but we've been saying that we've been hearing that for years, not years, for months, I guess I should say. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, no, I don't think that Trump's going to run third party because he'd be spending his own money on a guaranteed loss. I mean, he's not stupid.
Yeah, but he also would be so pissed off that he'd want to fuck it up.
I mean, he'd be pissed off, but he's not stupid.
Maybe he runs third party. Maybe he runs third party, doesn't spend any money.
But you'd have, you know, to run third party, you'd need about $1 billion.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, he's not going to.
Steve, hear me out though. I'm sorry. He would run third party knowing he doesn't have a shot, but he would run third party to fuck everything up.
Would you spend $1 billion of your own?
I don't think he would spend $1 billion. Is my point. He would just run third party and do it as cheaply as possible. Because I think at that point he would realize it would be very tough to be the president as a third party candidate. No.
Yeah, but it's still he'd still be spending a huge amount of money
for something that's not going to benefit him in the end. I don't know. I don't see why, as a businessman, he would do that.
I hear your point, but he also has. You got to, think about that ego he has. Yeah. He's not going to go away quietly. So I think he's the type of guy that would try to figure out something to kind of mess things up a bit.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, right? Thank you, Steve. All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Goodbye. Just aggressive goodbyes for no reason. Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, we should take a break. We got Mark Norman here. Mark's killing it all over the fucking country. Where are you going to be, buddy?
I need you on this one. I just got a text last night from the owner of the comedy club saying tickets are a little light. And then, thank God, Roland texted me. Said, you want to come in tomorrow?
Oh, cool, yeah.
I'm in Atlanta at the Laughing Skull. Great room, great town. Come on out. Atlanta people, I need you.
They're going to love you in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it'll sell like closer to the day of, but Jesus Christ. When
he's already panicking and giving you a text? You guys have to deal with that?
Oh, yeah.
Where owners will fucking text you?
And then you feel guilty. You're just like, I'm sorry, I'm not a draw, I'm not famous.
Right.
Don't book me.
And then the Laughing Skull gets free fucking promotion on this pretty successful radio show.
Yeah. So come on out, folks. We'll talk about IUDs.
I'll support Mark Norman at the Laughing Skull Lounge in Atlanta tomorrow through Sunday.
Yes, please.
And then you got other dates, but we'll leave that alone so you can focus on Atlanta. How's that sound?
Yeah, come out to Atlanta, listen to my podcast, Who's Their Stories.
Yes, and Jimmy's got Indianapolis tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow's Indianapolis, and Cleveland is sold out, but they have released the holds. You get these holds that they have for radio stations or my comps, so there might be some that they have released that you can get. So try Cleveland.
Okay.
Someone told me that they were able to get tickets, so it's like go and try it now because they released these last minute and they don't tell us.
Nice.
And then Saturday is Grand Rapids, the Fountain Street Church, and then I'm Portland and Denver, the 25th and 26th, the Aladdin Theater and the Paramount Theater. I'm getting out to the West Coast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy. Philadelphia's coming up and Delaware. I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, it's a huge theater tour. Go to JimNorton.com for the tickets.
Oh, it's been such a hit.
Wonderful. We got some Sacha Baron Cohen video clips up on the YouTube channel, Opie Radio. We'll tweet them out, I guess, or we probably have by now. And what else do we have going on? We got, on today's show, Gilbert Gottfried in a little while. Dick Cavett.
Woo!
He's a legend. And Gerry Cooney, too. This is going to be a action-packed show. So
yeah, the Coon.
Stay there. Hanging out with Mark Norman today. Oh, nice. Yes, you too. 29 years ago today, the release of The Joshua Tree.
Oh.
Are you a U2 fan, Mark Norman?
They're okay. I didn't like how they snuck onto my iPod. But
a lot of people were bothered by that.
Yeah, what the hell?
A lot of people, I remember reading some of the tweets and stuff like, what the fuck is this U2? There were people that actually didn't know who U2 were.
Right.
Kind of like more in the hip-hop community and whatnot. Yeah. They're like, what the fuck is this U2?
Right, yeah, I know. What if I just put some of the tracks from my album on your iPod, like, Pussy Farts?
Yeah.
Just pops up between Alanis Morissette and...
I think people would enjoy Pussy Farts.
Well,
in between a couple ditties.
Well, after seeing how many people like lesbians.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's sweeping the nation. Bono apologizes for forcing U2's Songs of Innocence on iTunes users. They thought it was a good idea at the time. But it backfired a little bit. A lot of people were definitely pissed off by that, which surprised me because I'm thinking, here you go. They're giving you a nice brand new album.
True, but it just the assumption that we want this, it was weird. It's like waking up to a thing next to you like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah. All right.
It was also an issue because it was difficult to delete.
Yes.
They made it difficult to delete on top of it?
And Apple actually had to put out, I think, either a separate app or like they emailed everyone to let them know how to delete it.
That's funny. Why did they make it difficult to delete?
Because it was a big deal between Apple and U2.
Right.
They thought everyone was going to be happy.
They just assumed everyone would love this U2 album. I mean, most people did in the end, right, Travis?
I don't know.
You don't know either?
I didn't hear one positive review.
It was kind of a lackluster record, I think.
It was all right. I'm a big U2 fan, and that record was just all right for me.
I don't know.
I loved Joshua Tree, though.
Yeah.
To this day, I'll still track through that. We were talking about U2 and how they forced their album on everybody.
On iTunes, yeah.
On iTunes, and that was kind of a weird thing.
Really shitty, yeah.
I think a lot of people really did enjoy the fact they got the U2 album, but there were definitely people that were very pissed off.
Well, it's invasive, and it's presumptuous.
Yes.
Don't tell me I'm going to have to take up space with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like someone giving you a couch.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what Mark is saying.
Oh.
You wake up and there's a couch in your living room.
You said couch too?
Well,
I said sofa.
Wow.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, no, he said, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
I was going to say great minds think alike. It would have been a fun moment. You should have went with that.
He basically said you wake up and there's something that you didn't order or whatever is in your...
Right. And it could be a nice couch, but it's still weird that it's in your room when you were sleeping.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't order this fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like getting a painting.
Yeah.
One of my paintings is in the back of the studio. I didn't want that.
Fucking no one wants that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Fucking awful.
We haven't discussed the painting in a while.
That's what you see in a doctor's office in Tampa.
Yeah. We should have got Sacha Baron Cohen to sign it.
No, that would be worse.
An Academy Award winner signed the painting just to try to get the value up.
Yeah.
That's J.K. Simmons' autograph on that thing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, we are farmers.
That's a pretty good idea.
My thing was to get a whole bunch of A-listers to sign in my opinion, and it was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
Because there was someone in my...
That's a great idea. All right, fine, I'll sign it.
It was a family member down there in Philly thinking I'm really into, I don't know, beach paintings.
Yeah.
Because I tend to like to go to the beach from time to time. So now I'm thinking if the A-listers sign it, then I want to like auction it off and, I don't know, give the money to charity or something. Or maybe just put it in my fucking back pocket.
Looks like a shitty beach.
There's I don't know. The old lady used Sharpies. There's Sharpies in there.
Oh, wow.
You should really look at it closely. There's Sharpies.
I'm good.
Okay. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
What's up, Jimmy? What's the wow?
No, I'm just looking at... Dick Cavett was the shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course he is.
Just, thank you.
What thing got to you?
In 1968, Christine Jorgensen, who was widely known to be the first person to have sex reassignment surgery, male to female, widely known person, because she's certainly not the first person. First person was the Danish girl.
I don't know this.
Which I just saw.
I did too. It was a boring film, but I mean, it was, an important person in history if you like that movement.
It was a little too convenient too. Oh, the wife is just perfectly happy with this. It all went too well.
It did, but I looked up the real people. I mean, it's about, I forget the name. They were from
Copenhagen?
Copenhagen or some shit, 1929, and the surgery's in the early 30s.
Yeah.
Wow, that's got to be a rough surgery for
Back then, fuck yeah.
early 30s.
And she wound up dying.
Yeah.
Not long after. I'm guessing the new vag was infected. Probably not the best job.
The new vag got infected?
I'm guessing. What else would have killed it?
Oh, see, look at that. That's actually what she looked like.
Yikes.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly
it's
good.
Like Voss in a wig.
Boy, they smoothed things over for the Danish Girl movie because
they sure did.
It was a little different.
Yowza.
That's crazy.
He actually looks better as a man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. He looks like fucking, I know Oliver Hardy reference, but...
Wow.
Yeah. Stan Laurel.
Yeah. Does look a little early.
Can we look up what the surgery entailed back in the early 30s?
But Christine Jorgensen was on a Cavett show.
Yes, sure.
And walked off the show and she felt offended that he asked about her status of her sex life with her wife. And because she was the only guest scheduled, he had to spend the rest of the show just talking about how he didn't mean to offend her.
Yeah.
Like he's had to fill on a fucking network talk show. I just love how they fucking did things, man.
Yeah, he was great at that type of thing.
But just the idea that was how it was done back then, just real people, and it wasn't perfectly produced, and every single fucking microsecond wasn't overly managed and obsessed about. Like just a guy with a fucking shitty tie and a notepad just trying to make things work.
You would let the show breathe.
Let it breathe.
There's nothing wrong with letting it breathe.
No.
Yeah.
And seeing where it goes instead of like, oh my God, there's nothing happening for this, like you said, this second.
Yeah.
This half second. What can we fill it with?
Also, it's fun. They're smoking and the boom mic comes in every other 6 seconds.
That when I look at some of these old talk show appearances and see him drinking and smoking, it just blows my mind.
I know, it's like a party.
It's so foreign now to just see that.
Yeah.
What do we got on this there, Paul? Anything? On the first? This is from the Danish Girl.
February 1930 is when the groundbreaking operations that allowed Einar to become Lily. Ella was dead, the victim of a misjudged surgery transplant into the womb.
They were going to transplant a womb into her body.
I didn't know that was what it was.
What, why?
Cyclosporin, the drug that prevents the rejection of transplanted organs, was first used in 1980.
I didn't realize they were putting a womb in because she wanted to have a baby. They didn't know if you could do it or not. Oh,
wow.
That's why it fucked up.
That's why.
I thought you just go for a hole and just make believe everything else is there.
Yeah, how greedy were you? Just,
right.
Yeah, you just fucking stop it.
Oh,
my
wow.
God!
I did not know this.
It's like the fucking house front, like on a lot of Sony or something like that.
A facade.
Yeah, facade.
You just want a facade if you're going for that surgery. You don't want, you don't need everything else.
Yeah.
You don't need the rest of the plumbing. Just make it look like it's something.
Yeah, exactly.
But she went for a womb.
Oh, I didn't know that was what they didn't make that clear.
I don't think that was ever successful,
No,
right?
it was not.
Oh man, so she got greedy. You can't get greedy if it's 1931.
Yeah.
The uterus transplant.
June 1931, you should not get greedy.
No, not with a tranny.
You should just push your ball sack in and make it look like something and then say, I'm good.
Yeah.
Wow, no medication to prevent organ rejection. Didn't recover and died on the 13th, 3 months after the surgery due to cardiac arrest caused by the rejection of the uterus by her immune system and the resulting infection.
So the Danish movie made this look all glamorous, but it was hell on earth.
Well, no, they show her dying at the end, and they show the.
But do they talk about the womb in the actual movie?
No, I guess they just said a surgery. They didn't get probably detailed. Not for any reason other than probably just editing. And
where did they get the womb from?
I'm guessing a cadaver.
Oh my God! You want a dead lady's womb in you?
Yeah, I don't even want a live lady's womb.
I hate wombs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You boo the womb?
Fuck yeah. Buzz off, womb. That's what I say.
There's no room for the womb.
Should we get Dr. Steve on the line? I want to know how they were going to attempt to give somebody a womb.
All scarred up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, don't you need like ovaries and uterine lining or whatever
I
the
suppose.
Fuck? Yeah.
Obviously very experimental in 1931, and it sounds like they said, oh boy, this we're not ready for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like they accomplished this as we moved from 1931. Let's go to Ryan on Long Island. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey, did you guys hear the other Wachowski sibling just came out as transgendered as well?
Who's this?
The Wachowski?
Yes, the Wachowski brothers. They made The Matrix. One of them was transgendered a couple years ago, came out, and now the other one just came out as transgendered.
Whoa. Two of them. Both of them.
Two of them, yeah. Two siblings.
Lily.
Yeah, Lily, and I think Lana was the first one.
What the fuck's the world coming to?
Lily, whose sister Lana came out as a transgender in 2012, has made a statement saying she has transitioned.
They're brothers, now they're sisters?
Yeah.
What the fuck's the world coming to?
Wow.
Good morning.
Wow, this world's getting strange.
Oh, my God. It's my new
Are you allowed to say
catchphrase.
it's getting strange? I have to say that. I know you're not allowed.
Well, I have a catchphrase.
Yeah, what's the catchphrase?
What the fuck's the world coming to? Well, who's Silence the Lambs? Can you go back?
Go back to what? Where were you?
I thought I saw Silence the Lambs.
Yeah, you did.
Wachowski went to describe the trans community as not predators, we are prey. And
I see, yes.
Media representation of trans people. She wrote, though we have come a long way since Silence of the Lambs, we continue to be demonized and vilified in the media where attack ads portray us as potential predators to keep us from even using the goddamn bathroom.
Boy, you're a girl. What the fuck's the world coming to?
Ooh, it's fun to say.
I mean, I've said it many times. You got to give us some time to catch up. You can't just throw this at us.
Mm-hmm.
You got to let it. We got to digest it and let it sit for a little while.
I know
this is being pushed forward a little too quickly for some of the older people out there. No,
I mean, I'm speechless. Wow, Caitlyn Jenner looks fucking good.
Yeah,
she's hiding that shitty knee though by standing that way.
The Joe Klecko knee.
Yep. Used to be Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn.
Caitlyn Jenner's reality show returns to series low.
Yeah, because everybody's looking at it. Go, what the fuck's the world coming to?
Can I say this about transgendered? And feel free to cut my
Say
mic.
whatever you want.
All right. How come whenever a man transitions to a woman, they always become just a dumb, shitty woman? You know, they're like, I want to wear dresses and put on makeup. It's never like, it's like, I'm a reality TV star. Or even in The Danish Girl, like, I just want to be pretty and have an umbrella over my shoulder. But it's never like, I want to become a woman and do some cool shit. It's always the worst version of a woman, like a ditzy broad.
The simplified version of a woman.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Well, if they make them, probably I'm going to guess, if you say you had leg surgery, your leg has been amputated, and you're having another leg put on, your focus probably tends to be on leg things as opposed to, all right, let me sit down and work on stocks. I'm guessing that's what your focus is at first. I don't know the answer to. Well, someone will probably call in and go, well, those are just the ones the media focuses on. They don't give props to the other ones who are doing other stuff.
Well, Bruce was a pretty complicated individual, and now he's coming across like he's just another Kardashian.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking runways and putting on pretty dresses and walking around with the latest fashions. And that's all you know about Caitlyn.
Who's that brilliant?
I like your point, Mark.
No, who's the brilliant transgender woman? What did she? Oh my God!
She invented satellite radio.
There you go. Yeah.
What?
She's a genius.
The reason we're here is because
there you go. All right.
Because of a transgender.
But did she invent it after the transition?
I don't.
Aha.
I don't know. I don't even want to mention her name. I get scared even mentioning her name.
No. Why? Martine Rothblatt. Why? She's like a brilliant person.
Yeah.
Okay, but when did she switch?
Don't know.
But that wasn't about looking pretty.
Personal life. Yeah, in 94, at age 40.
Yeah, that wasn't her first thought to look pretty, that's for sure. In 94, at the age of 40, she came out as transgender and changed her name to Martine. How would you say that? Martini?
Martine?
How do they pick these names?
What's that?
How do they pick their names?
I don't know. It's an interesting. Martine Alana Rothblatt.
She has since become a vocal advocate for transgender rights.
Sometimes it sounds like, I think, closer to the name, like Martin becomes Martine. A part of that, I'm thinking, has something to do with the family. So your family is not as big a jump, or maybe it's not as big a you to hear.
You don't expect much from someone named Caitlyn. Going back to Mark's point.
Yeah. Caitlyn's a stewardess,
Yeah.
But Martine, all right, she can invent
you know she's going to get some stuff done.
Right. All right, well, I stand corrected. That's why I brought it up. Okay, great.
No, but you're right. In general, the ones that are high profile, they're just out there looking pretty, smelling nice.
Yeah, I just want to wear a dress.
Walking runways and stuff.
Right.
And Bruce was definitely much more than that.
Yeah.
Much more than that. Very complicated.
And didn't he have some dad issues? Was he, trained too hard or something?
Oh, probably overcompensated for feeling like a girl.
There you go.
His father wasn't very empathetic. No. No. He's like, what the fuck's the world coming to?
He didn't have a good relationship.
All day.
Yeah. I like it. He didn't have a good relationship with his dad. No. He had a tough time with his dad.
I'll say, though, these shitty dads, they create amazing kids.
Sure do. Fucking Jacksons?
Jacksons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy?
Who's the other guy?
I couldn't think of one.
Okay.
Jack Hitler?
How's the relationship with your parents, Mark?
Oh,
obviously great.
Yeah.
Wonderful, right?
I'm a comedian. I'm here. I fled to New York. It's not great. We're fucking distant. There's no hugging. There's no...
little sweetie.
There's no...
Was it always like that?
No, I felt like when I was a kid, it was fucking hunky-dory, and now it's something flipped.
You don't even know?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out in therapy, which I am a big proponent of. But yeah, I don't know. We're distant. There's a wall between us. I go over there. It's very coworkery. Hey, how are you? How's the weather? Then we run out of shit to say in 6 minutes, and I want to kill myself.
Where do they live?
New Orleans.
When did it change, though?
I think when I was 12 or 13.
Oh, Jesus. That's a long time ago. I thought when you became an adult.
No, I remember adolescence was fucked up, but I was a happy kid. Maybe I just was too dumb to know when I was a kid, but yeah.
But you don't get the hugs and the I love yous and all that?
You get the hug, but it's all very rehearsed and sterile.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a little mouth open.
Yeah. Give me a cheek squeeze.
Hold the back of that head.
Right.
What does your therapist say?
He thinks they're,
they're
evil.
unlovable.
He thinks they're monsters.
He's siding with the parents. I think they deserve credit for being able to touch you at all.
But I keep defending them. No, they're nice people. He's like, don't defend them. And he flips out. But yeah.
Do you talk to him on the phone a lot or anything?
I do, and he's always like, you got to bring up the fact that it's weird, and I just can't do it.
Why? Oh, with them?
Nah, I can't. It's gone too far.
Why don't you just change it? And be more warm and affectionate.
I try to be warm.
Hold both their hands at the same time.
Ugh, God.
I'm your boy.
I hate that guy.
Your boy loves you.
Send him flowers.
No.
That's what I do when I see my parents.
Send mommy flowers.
I'm your boy and your boy loves you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sing that to your parents. They love it. Parents love hearing that.
When do you stop calling your mom mommy? Because every once in a while you come across an adult that still says mommy. It's like,
when I'm
that's
7?
really fucking strange.
Yeah, that's odd.
It's odd, right?
Yeah.
You come across that.
Once you hit 25, you start paying hookers so you can say that to them.
Right.
No. Hi, Daddy.
It's also weird when an adult says, "This is my best friend." Like, what? You still have a best friend? That seems odd to me.
Yeah.
Having a best friend?
As an adult, it's just that word, the word's best friend.
We have closest friends, or my close friend.
Yeah.
When does that end? I think you can get through college saying, this is my best friend.
I guess college, yeah.
And then you got to kind of be a little more vague after that, because then they start going, what is that best friend thing all about?
Right.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, then you have a roommate. Like,
Then you
understand.
go from best friend to roommate, right.
Exactly.
What was the kid's name? My best friend, something Flynn, who I don't even know. In Rocky 2.
Yeah.
What was the autograph he signed? To my good friend.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's a reference from 1977. Can't remember it.
Usually,
Charlie
Flynn.
Who I don't
Charlie
even
Flynn.
know.
Very good. Who I don't even know. So,
what about you? You close with the folks, or what? Your block letters over
people,
here?
I mean, I have shared that, certainly.
Oh, okay.
I had a fucking crazy mom growing up.
Oh, really?
Nuts.
Long Island kook?
Long Island kook.
All right.
Really believed for most of my life that she could kill us.
Drinking?
No.
Pills?
No.
Beating?
Not really. More yelling and screaming, and just the thought that she could literally smother us to death.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a good day when I realized that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was too old.
Would you kill her?
Huh?
What
She's
happened?
all right though. I mean, she's in her home now, and
oh, jeez.
I only talk about the bad side, but she had a great personality, and she would like hold court wherever she went in public and stuff. But then at home, I guess it was a dark place for her.
Right.
A lot of sadness, and she let the darkness take over. But
was she like depressed, and you think that's how she handled it, or bipolar?
She had fucking 7 kids in 7 years.
7 kids in 7 years.
7 kids in 6 kids. I got a stepsister. We have a total of 7. 6 kids in 6 years.
Jesus.
Yeah, every year, because the church said to do that.
Jeez, she could.
But man, I'm thinking my parents sucked at trying to figure shit out. That rhythm method and stuff.
Oh, right.
Because she has openly said she didn't want to have all of us. But I'm happy because I was the first, so I know I was wanted.
Yeah,
and I would assume my
that's a good way to look at it.
My other brother was wanted, but you get down to 4, 5, and 6, I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
they might have some issues because they heard my mom say that she didn't want all these kids. But it was a religious thing.
That's bad news. They should have taken her womb.
She was happy in the end that she had them, for sure. But she had no problem telling us that she didn't want all of us.
Oof, that's tough.
Yeah, but my dad was beyond normal, beyond cool, beyond loving, all that shit. So it's a weird thing. I don't know anybody on my mom's side of the family. Never really did.
Oh wow.
My mom and her sister haven't talked in 30 some odd years, and she lives pretty much like 10 miles from here. I haven't seen her in 30 years, probably longer at this point.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I have no desire to see any relatives ever.
Why?
I just don't. It's like, I don't know. It seems silly to me. Like,
are you filled with shame?
No, it's not shame.
Okay.
I just we got nothing in common. We don't get along. We're only hanging out together because your cousin fucked my aunt or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It seems arbitrary to me.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
My dad's side of the family, I love getting together with them. And
really?
Yeah, man.
I don't feel that.
Not all of
love.
them. I got a lot of cousins. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then there's a whole bunch I do like. And I'm sure a few of them look at me and go, ugh. That's just how it works. But my mom's side of the family, I don't know the first thing about them. Nothing.
Weird.
My mom's mom actually sued my mother.
Whoa.
And then my mom realized, well, she did the right thing. She's like, I got to keep this lady away from my kids.
Why'd she sue her?
Because when they had 6 kids in 6 years and, work was a little light for dad at times because he was an entrepreneur. He would either hit or not hit. They borrowed money from her. And then my mom wasn't paying her back fast enough. And
how much did they borrow?
I don't even know anymore. I would have to ask my mom. I will ask her that. And so she wasn't paying her back fast enough. So this lady, I don't even consider her grandma by any stretch, sued my mom for the money. They went through like a whole fucking court thing.
People suing their own kids.
So.
Well, we were waiting for the catchphrase.
No.
What? You got to do the catchphrase.
I'll do it later.
All right.
The fuck's the world coming to?
All right.
Wow, she sued. Did she win it? Or
You didn't know this?
No.
I don't know how it played out in the end.
If I knew, I forgot.
Because that alone was like, wow, you're suing me. Jeez, I don't think we could be mom and daughter anymore.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Or, mom and daughter anymore.
Yeah.
So then, I don't remember. I saw her somewhere around the age of, 12 maybe. 13 was the last time I saw her, and then I saw her on her deathbed. And the famous story goes, I've told way too many times, but there are newer listeners. My mom's like, hey, man, my mom's dying. I'm going to go see her. And I'm like, I'll go with you, Mom. I'll go with you. Because she obviously needed a little support. Because it's still her mom, but I didn't give a fuck about that lady whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then I walked in the room, and now I'm an adult. I'm like 20, I'm trying to remember exactly, 23, 24 maybe, 25 even. And this lady looks at me, this old lady in the bed is like, oh, Precious. Because I guess she called me Precious when things were normal.
Yeah.
So she goes, oh, Precious, you've grown up.
He had AIDS. Wow.
And at that point, I looked at my mom and I go, Mom, I'll be in the car. And I just left.
Damn.
I didn't even acknowledge when she said, Precious, you've grown.
Holy moly.
And then she died, I guess, I don't know, a few weeks after that or whatever it was, and that was it. Whew. Don't know where she's buried, nothing.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
But my mom had a half-sister that was really cool. That lived in Lowell, Massachusetts. We would go up there once in a while and check her out. So
I remember the last thing my grandmother said to my parents about me. It was bizarre.
What was it?
Let's hear it.
She said to my dad, your cum is a bummer.
She knew you well.
But I focused on what? Gilbert's here? Yeah, bring in. I focused on some of the bad shit over the years with my mom, but she definitely had a good side. Loved to laugh, good sense of humor, all that shit.
Yeah.
Gilbert, what's up, buddy?
The Gil.
How are you, man?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, him I know.
Oh, you know a few people in this room, sir.
Yes, I've been here before.
Oh, you just realized that? We're talking about like having weird relationships with your parents.
Yeah, I want. When you say Jim and weird relationship.
Oh,
no, mine is more normal than his.
Yeah, no, Jimmy's got a good relationship with his parents.
Yeah, it's decent.
They want more contact with Jimmy.
So your parents are not what made you unsure today.
No, not at all.
No, my God, this is.
You've never met Jim Norton's parents?
No,
they couldn't be sweeter and nicer.
Yeah,
they're unbelievable.
Him and my mother text, but they've never actually met in person.
So did you fall off a skateboard or something that made you the way you are now?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But Mark has a weird relationship with his parents. I have probably of the three of us, I have the most normal relationship.
Not even probably, definitely.
When you were being born, did they use those pliers to tug you by the head out?
By the cock. They pulled me out by the cock.
Something would have to explain what.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've wondered that too because my parents are lovely.
They bring gifts every time they see Jimmy.
I wouldn't be expecting that at all.
No.
Yeah.
They're very nice people.
I'm surprised you didn't know that. You've known Jimmy forever. I mean, I've gone to the gigs where his mom shows up with a whole bunch of gifts.
Well, that's only for Christmas. They bring me to the...
But they bring him to the venue. And then Jimmy has to awkwardly open them in front of everybody in the green room.
Yeah.
See,
I just sit there and I enjoy the experience.
I would be thinking like his parents would be like the type, if he spoke at the dinner table, they pour boiling water on him and then lock him in his room for a year.
Yes.
Every time I talked at dinner, my father would hit me and then punch my mother in the pussy.
That's what I'd be expecting.
He would be dragged out to the shed every night. And all you hear, hear is screaming.
He had, both his father and his uncle would sexually molest him,
Right.
This is too much.
Yeah, you would think there would be a backstory. No offense, Jimmy.
Normal.
You would think there's a little backstory there,
Jimmy.
But
we think you're a disgusting person. No offense, Jimmy.
What about your parents? What are your parents like? I'm curious.
Yeah.
They also, I guess, seem normal.
Really?
Come on. The way you go after free food, I feel like your dad just put a carrot on a stick and held it in front of you.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Were they generous people, or?
Well, I mean, I don't remember having much money growing up because we lived. He had a hardware store in Coney Island.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Crappy, out-of-the-way area.
Was he fucking Howard Cunningham?
Yes. And Henry Winkler would stop in.
That's a great
go,
That's a great little business to have back in the day.
Sure.
Oh, but back then, I don't remember ever seeing a customer come
Oh, wow.
in.
Okay.
no.
Because then Home Depot swept in and then took out the small businessman.
Jeez. Yeah.
Well, my dad had his own lumber guy, his own hardware guy, and it was kind of a nice little experience to jump in the car with Dad and get some things.
Right.
And the guy knew him by name. Drive around back with your truck and blah blah will help load. It was just nice.
So your dad had a hardware store. My dad, he didn't have a business. So your father, what would he make in his hardware store? What would he do?
God,
he would just make signs that said "Keep out" and then sell them to local Klansmen.
Yes.
So he was a hardware store. What'd your mom do?
And our apartment was on top of the hardware store.
Oh, it's one of those situations.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was.
So he was in the hardware store 18 hours a day.
Yeah. Can you blame him? I mean,
Did she work or no, your mom?
no, not while she was married to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, then they split, obviously.
They split when you were how old?
No, I said, when she was married to him.
Okay.
When she got married.
Oh, they stayed together.
No, I didn't mean.
Oh, okay.
No, back then, I don't remember people splitting up back then.
They didn't split up, and the mom didn't really work.
Yeah, you
that's
got
what we
married.
remember.
Back then, you got married. The woman did the housework.
Yeah.
And there was no, I don't remember, like, divorces ever.
It was very rare. And boy, everyone looked at that person like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Really?
Yeah, now it's like
just-
marriage is like, okay, we'll get married if by the end of the week we don't like it, we'll get a divorce.
Do you remember when there was always that kid that had the mom that worked and how strange that was?
Yes. Yeah, that was weird.
She was like a career woman and she was looked, I don't know, they would look down at her.
Oh, yeah.
Because that kid would always go home to the empty house, which, became more normal as the years went on. But when we were growing up, it's like, wait, you go home and there's no one there? That's really fucked up. But that was the house you'd want to go to after school.
It made me think of, like, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. That was the whole thing, the working girl. And I remember, I heard that when they were making that show, originally she was supposed to be a divorced woman.
That's right.
And the network said to them, no, we can't have her as a divorced woman because there are two things the country hates: divorced women and Jews.
Well, sometimes the country's right.
Sometimes they get it right.
Wow. Oh, man.
There it is. Mary Richards was originally a divorcee.
And then she became what? A widower? A widow? Sorry.
No, I think
don't
she was
think
just
so.
a single...
Oh, a single girl?
Yeah, trying to make it on her own.
Yeah, she just became Marlo Thomas.
Liberated.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing. I didn't know she was supposed to be divorced.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Dick Cavett coming in here today, Gilbert.
Him I've met a few. He's been on my podcast.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah. Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast on GilbertGottfried.com.
It's a fun podcast.
It's great.
Yeah, but
It's a great
they
listen.
really get into the fucking issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, that's really pretty deep.
If the issues are Art Linkletter.
Yeah. We're up to date.
Oh, yeah.
Who have you had on recently, Gilbert?
I don't know. We're hoping to get Mitch Miller, but but we Dick Van Dyke was on.
How was that?
Wow.
He was totally alert. Yeah.
That's all you want from your guests, for them to be alert?
Yes.
And alive.
Yeah.
George Slaughter? Okay, yeah, I know George.
Yeah, George
Oh,
Slaughter.
Robert Wool.
Nice.
How was Robert Wool? I like him.
We've had him on.
Yeah, him
We've had
I've
Robert.
known for a
When?
while. So he was fun, and we had on Adam West and two of the original Catwomen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which two did
Julie
you go with?
Newmar?
Julie Newmar and Lee Merriweather.
Oh.
I liked the third one that you didn't have. I forgot her name, though. She was more exotic.
Well, it was Eartha Kitt.
I think it's Eartha Kitt,
Yeah.
yes. I liked her the best.
Oh, she was the one that would go, oh, that's pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
It was
She dead?
I think so.
Yeah.
She was black, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt was pretty fucking... I remember, she was very hot.
Oh, I like Julie Newmar.
You liked her the
I
best?
thought she filled out the suit the best.
That's true. You're right.
Look at these hips.
You're right with that.
Watch
She's
the hips.
82, though. I mean, I would definitely not fuck her.
Oh.
Look at those jugs.
Yeah.
And where's Lee Merriweather up there?
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, she's fucking nice.
Let's see, Lee Merriweather. Let's go with this.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
she's
fun,
all right.
too.
That's the one I remember the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember her the most. They all were all right.
Yeah.
They have any good stories to tell, Gilbert? How's Adam West these days?
Did any of them shit on Burt Ward's dick?
He's got a big piece, Burt Ward.
I know.
Is that right?
See, now, I heard
Boy wonder.
that I read some article that, and it's hard to believe a bad thing about Hitler, but it's that he was into the same thing that I heard Danny Thomas.
Yeah, the poo.
Poo sex,
like,
yeah.
Poo sex, I mean.
Although with Hitler, according to this article, he didn't have a glass coffee table.
He just
not
went.
at all.
He'd have these girls shit on him.
Yeah, because he was into being humiliated. He would say, drop a bratwurst on my chest, you Jew.
And the coffee table's for rookies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
the
small
starter
timer.
kit.
Yes, yes. That's the training wheels of toilet games.
I have said it, Gilbert.
games.
I've said it over the years.
Great John Grisham book.
It's not my thing, but I wanna be under a coffee table just to check it out.
Really?
Yeah,
But-
it's
Yeah.
not my thing. More as a freak show.
The thing is, once you do it, it's like it seems like you can't undo it.
Once
You're
you
going to
go-
be the guy who got shit on under a no matter what
no.
you accomplish in
You
your
don't get the
life.
shit on you. You're just watching it come out.
Yeah,
and then I want to laugh like an
Still.
idiot.
Yeah, but
Are you saying it's a gateway thing?
yeah, it's one of those things like
Jimmy nods.
Yeah.
Jimmy's like, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like the old joke goes, you know, what was that old joke goes, boy, but you suck one cock.
Yeah, you're not a bridge builder, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, right.
and that's like you're gonna when you die on your tombstone, it's gonna be he got shit on.
But I'm not. I don't want the shit on me.
No,
I'll
but
go
you're
coffee
gonna,
table, and then hopefully it
It's,
says, and he laughed like an idiot.
Yeah,
Right.
They'll leave that part off.
They will, right?
They'll
Those sons of
laugh like
bitches.
an idiot. They're not going to say. They're going to say he was jerking off.
Yeah.
As shit was coming out of
That's
his
I
right.
don't
mouth.
even need to jerk
That's
off.
right.
Yeah.
I should be better if, to my kids so they could add the and he was laughing like an idiot part.
and it's like for years later they'll be saying, "Oh, what's his name again? Oh, he was that guy who used to like to get shit on."
Right. And he
Yeah,
brought his
much
kids in.
like Hitler and Danny Thomas.
That's right. He would lay his head on the wicker bottom of a glass coffee table and tug his prick while a chick donkey tailed.
Wouldn't you love to talk to the first person that figured that one out? Like,
Oh, yeah. Jimmy, how was that?
It was not bad.
the
I'd like
coffee
to-
table thing?
I'd like to have a guy do it, and I'd be under the coffee table, but still make him use a coaster.
A guy?
Oh, shit.
Oh my God!
You want to watch a guy drop a log?
I heard that too, and I was going, "Wait, well, what?"
It'd be a better log.
It would
So
be.
you want a guy to shit on you?
Under a coffee table.
It would be a healthy log.
So
Yeah. You're missing the coffee table part.
It's still gross to watch a fucking nice fucking guy's log drop out. You
A big,
goose.
fat guy.
Can we do this?
Ooh, Roland.
I've been wanting to do this for a while. Do
Rolling shits are probably like little fire hydrants.
you think they're just...
Are they messy?
Oh, they gotta be.
Soupy?
Oh, he lives with
no.
them.
Paul,
That's
you
right.
know that they're messy?
Well, I live with them now.
How is it cleaning that coffee table?
Here, from the Hitler article, officially, he wanted women to stand over him while he was lying down and have them defecate over him.
I've heard that before too, and it has a small penis, and I think they're just trying to. And I said this yesterday. They're trying to sully the name of a good man.
Yeah, why now? Why now?
it's like I could believe a whole lot about Danny Thomas, but Hitler. I
Now,
don't
come
know.
on, he's a military guy. Very neat.
What about the fact that he has a tiny penis?
I don't
They're
buy
saying
it
he
at
might
all.
have a micro
They said he
penis.
had
Yeah.
a tiny mangled penis.
Mangled?
Mangled.
No, they're just saying
no,
that.
mangala.
Mangled-
yeah,
mangled on a
definitely
penis.
mangle a penis.
Yeah.
And one ball.
Yeah, one ball.
They really want to fuck up his image, huh?
Absolutely.
Someone has it out for Hitler all these years later.
What are they going to say next? He didn't put the seat up when he tinkled? I don't buy it.
Because you're so tired of just hearing nice things about him.
Absolutely, how efficient he was.
Now people have to
come in there and fucking knock him.
They build you up and they tear you down.
Right.
Absolutely. Leave AH out of this.
It's not fair. He's not around to defend himself.
Absolutely.
I know.
God.
Poor guy. Ate some bad chocolates.
But why now? Why not many, many years ago? Why
I
is
know.
this coming out now?
During the 30s would have been the time to spread this.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That's why he didn't get into art school. He's painting with his own shit like that.
That fucking laugh. I love it.
Wow.
What did Dick Van Dyke have to say?
One thing, and I hate this when the interview's over and they tell you the best story.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we got in a habit where we don't even talk to you guys until these mics are on because all the good stuff happens before sometimes, too.
And it'll happen before or after. And so when we got off the mic with Dick Van Dyke, then he says to me, "Oh, you know, when I was in school, they nicknamed me Dick Nose." And that when the teacher would ask a question and say, "Who knows the answer?" everyone in the class would point to Dick Van Dyke and go, "Dick knows, Dick knows." And it was like,
good times.
And I thought that's what I want to hear.
That would have been a good story for the podcast.
Yeah.
We should take a break because Dick Cavett's here early.
Is he here?
Yeah. So why don't we do that, right?
Yeah.
All right, where is he?
Gilbert, I know you're playing Caroline's, right?
Yeah, I'm playing Caroline's tomorrow. And then Friday I'll be in Newark at the Victoria Theater, I think it is.
Performing Arts Center.
Performing Arts Center.
On Friday, New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark.
And then in April,
Gottfried.
I'll be working with Richard Lewis. Well, just check GilbertGottfried.com.
Perfect. But Caroline's tomorrow night at 7:30, one show.
Yeah.
A quick in and out for Gilbert at Caroline's. And Mark Norman has got the Atlanta gig. Let's do this tomorrow through Sunday, Laughing Skull Lounge in Atlanta.
Thank you. Come on up, folks.
He needs the help. The club owner texted him and said ticket sales are a little light.
Yeah, not a draw.
And Jimmy's going to Indianapolis tomorrow.
Tomorrow, the Egyptian Room in Indianapolis. Friday, Cleveland. They've actually added seats. I got an email from my agent, and that's why there's available, because it was sold
here
out,
and there. Good.
which is good for me on the back end. And then Saturday, Grand Rapids, Michigan, at the Fountain Street
What's
Church.
happening with you on the back end?
More is being added.
All right, with that, we're going to have Dick Cavett in here next. Stay there.
Character's supposed to be a Jew, but they don't
All right, we're on it, Gilbert. I like you, so I'll shut you up right now.
Yeah,
Dick
Cavett has entered.
Yeah, Dick Cavett has entered the studio and has already entertained us for the last 10 minutes with impressions. Yeah, I would love it. We should have waited for the radio. There was some good stuff in there.
I would like to say, for the record, I wasn't entertained by anything Dick Cavett said.
That is true. Gilbert interrupted and heckled the entire time. That's very rude.
He waves at the audience when you're on stage with him and grabs his fans and other people's.
We were just talking about Hillary just before the mics went on, and that was a real surprise in Michigan.
Yeah, we're sitting here in the shock waves of Bernie's announcing her in Michigan. Nobody even predicted it would be close.
I thought she had like a 12-point lead or something like that going into it.
Can they get a refund on the polls that people charged them for?
Exactly. It was close, though. It was just 49.9 to 48.2. So
yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be close.
No, they split the delegates more or less, 65 to 58.
Yeah.
But more importantly, how do you rearrange Hillary Clinton's name to spell out a sentence?
Oh,
that's what you're.
Well, see, I can't do my anagrams if I'm asked. They
You do anagrams?
Yeah, it's a curse. And I remember sitting there on the show and talking to somebody. Well, Spiro Agnew, singular worst guest I ever had on.
Really?
Why?
Dismal, dull, boring, and unfunny. Everybody said he'd be swell.
Oh, wow.
And all I could think of and should have said is, you realize If you rearrange the letters of your name, it spells grow a penis.
Do you see those
I love
instantly?
That Gottfried laugh. It's so
Oh, it's the best.
Do you see those in your head instantly, or do
Sort of. The one that scared me, I had been playing a word game one summer with some people I was sharing a house with, and you rearranged letters to make as many words as you could on the table and move them around. And I got so I could do it without wanting to. I remember driving in, and Mr. Donut sign was there, and Donut was burned out. So it just said Mr., and I thought, Mr., miters, timers, remits, merits, all of those. No, it's a quirk that's a little insane.
Oh, cool. I hope it doesn't happen when you hear the word ginger.
Well done. Yeah. You mean the word. The G word.
Or maggot.
Yeah.
Go maggot.
Here's the one, though. 2 a.m., driving past the old East Hampton movie theater, on an old marquee of the kind you put the letters up. And I guess some kid put them up and didn't know one actor from another and looked and see who's in the movie, and he had put up Lawrence of Arabia starring Alec Guinness. And I had just done a show with O'Toole, so I was going to take a picture so he'd know who the star of Lawrence of Arabia is. And the little voice said, genuine laces? No. Genuine class. That's Alec Guinness.
Right.
So your mind just rearranges those.
Yeah.
No,
That's a brilliance.
I take a reality and I reject it and change it.
Absolutely. I did that once. Lewis Friend, iron sulfide. Silence of the Lambs.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, that was in Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter would do these anagrams. It's great.
Atheist is eat shit.
Is it really? Oh, wow.
Nice.
Jesus.
That's a direct message to God.
Wow.
You said it.
So what do you think of this election, Mr. Cavett? It's pretty.
I'd rather talk about almost anything.
I understand.
Did you hear about Trump, though?
Spiro Agnew.
Well, how about this? We said earlier we haven't seen anything like this in our lifetime. I mean, have you ever seen anything this crazy
No, there's
in politics?
nothing comparable to this.
There's nothing, right?
That a man without a single skill needed to be the president of the United States, who is repulsive, misogynistic, and so cleverly, people could learn from him, showed how not to offend the Klan or the white supremacists by using a word they probably didn't even know, disavow.
Right.
Is that all you have to say about them? And he was winking, I'm sure, at the time.
You don't like Trump?
Yeah, Trump, yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
But if Dick Cavett doesn't like him, I'm not going to like him.
What do you see in him?
I like the fact that he's just wrecking this experience for the rest of them.
I should have known, knowing you. Yeah.
I like that he's calling everyone out. The media, the politicians, how they've campaigned over the years. You know, because I think we're all sick of these politicians speaking in sound bites and not really speaking their minds.
I think
instead of in lies.
He's gotten so popular because it's a matter of like saying stuff. Everyone's so scared to say anything nowadays. So someone speaks their mind. It's like, oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Political correctness has gone out of control
But
in
any
this
idiot
country.
can speak his mind, as he proves.
And I prove several times.
Yeah, you certainly have, haven't you?
If you ever speak your mind, it's all over. How can we stop him?
What happened? We need a new insurance duck. Yeah, Gilbert talks.
That was
He's
a
doing a
biggie
lot
for
of
Gilbert.
things that Nixon did, only Nixon was at least intelligent, well-informed, and clever about it. So Nixon had his Southern strategy, which he was able to bring off without openly offending.
You know, before you came in here, before you came in here, it was an entertaining show. But before you came in
And
here,
then they got you.
everyone was having fun. Everyone was
You don't want to know
relaxed.
what we were talking about.
The people at home must wonder, but it's somewhat true. They were telling farmers' daughters jokes. Just about anything.
We were having a square dance in here before.
Yeah, we were talking about Hitler shitting on people.
Right, yeah.
And then Dick walked in and said, leukemia, gentlemen.
As Trevor Howard said in some movie very movingly upon hearing upon someone's death, he said, "Oh my God, I am sorry."
We got to up our game, is what we're saying.
Well, you talk about Nixon. Nixon was was gunning for you at one point because of an anti-war.
More like 6 or 8 points.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can still get fun by tuning to the thing. I think it's probably still on YouTube, where you see the great unindicted co-conspirator himself sitting in the Oval Office with his, to use an Elizabethan term, lick-spittle, H.R. Haldeman, and the words come on.
Now, Jim, you've indulged in lick-spittle.
I certainly have.
Well, I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah, it's a fetish I paid for. Strap-on and lick-spittle. It's also a great store.
I remember the cop show, Strap-on and lick-spittle.
Strap-on and lick-spittle.
Yeah. I think it was with John Chuck.
Not suitable for adults.
So what happened?
The first words that, since it's a still photo, but it gives the impression that they're talking because the words come on, and the sound from the Nixon tapes, and it begins, what is Cavett anyway? And Haldeman says, oh, he's the worst. He loads every show with something. And Nixon interrupts and goes on. But the beautiful last line is, he comes back to the subject and says, Cavett, there must be something we can do to screw him.
Wow. Oh, that's an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't he respond, we've been trying to?
You know too much. In fact, yes, I almost forget this. I obviously didn't know about it at the time, because it's when the tapes were discovered, and years later they're playing them now. But, he did manage to screw. By the way, screw was the nicest word in his vocabulary. He was the filthiest mouthed son of a mother.
Right.
And it's part of his obsession with his manhood. You know, he was always saying, so-and-so's a real man. And then making that little first thing he did with his mouth. But anyway, we can't blame him for that. But yeah, here's what happened. Ran into a woman on my staff who'd been on it years earlier. And she said, I ran into Arlene, who was also on the staff, and she said she'd been audited. And then I said, well, I was audited too. What year was it? And it was the same year. So the unprincipled president couldn't get at me really as much as he wanted. And because I had obeyed John Lennon's request to come down and testify that he shouldn't be thrown out of the country by your Belinda wonder. And it was just a case of nastiness, extreme nastiness on his part. He audited everybody on my staff, which of course hurt as some would say, the little people.
Right.
So a phrase of Joan Crawford.
I had David Steinberg on the podcast.
Herr
Steinberg. And he said, he used to do Nixon jokes.
Yeah.
And then he would find when he was on tour, people in the audience would start heckling him. Really, when he'd start doing the Nixon jokes. And then he started to recognize the hecklers and that they were following him. And like it was sent over. And then some guy came along and he said, look, I know you've been having trouble. I'm with the FBI. I'll protect you. I'll travel with you. And then this guy, who was his protection, when all this Watergate stuff happened, he's watching the news, and the guy's sitting next to Nixon.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was creepy.
Now, is that his great story, or is that the signs of mental illness in David Steinberg? And I looked over, and Himmler was bullying me.
He was eloquent, though, like when he was in China, and they took him to the Great Wall, and you remember what he said?
What?
This is indeed a great wall.
Who said that, Nixon?
Nixon.
We were talking about the time you always, that's what I remember. When you'd have Groucho on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
the best aging Groucho ever done.
I just watched that again on YouTube, the 1969 thing.
Is that the good one where the one where he has the golf hat on?
Yeah, with the little golf balls on it.
Little balls on it. And here's a quick story about that.
Sorry.
When I was working with Harpo, and Harpo would play the harp, Now, the harp back then was a musical instrument that you'd hit the strings and it would make a sound and it would make music.
This is cruel.
Now, music back then was something that had a melody, and if you'd
The people at home can't imagine this, but behind Gilbert's head, there's Groucho singing Lydia on my window. About that hat, wouldn't you love to know what became of it?
Yes.
I wonder who's got it.
Someone's got that
There
hat.
it is again.
What story?
Well, I had Groucho on 10 times, I think, maybe 12. And
Jesus, that's more.
he was on with that hat with Truman Capote.
Wow.
And when you had Truman on, you had to brace yourself because the minute he spoke, the audience laughed every time. He was, as Norman Mailer said, a ballsy little guy, and it didn't bother him. But Groucho on that show proposed marriage to Truman. And Capote was no fool. And Groucho one day said, "So what about my offer?" And Capote said, "Well, I could never marry a man who has 3 balls on his hat." Oh my God, I can't get back to my own voice now.
You were with Brando when he punched the paparazzi?
Yeah, he knocked Ron Galella. He broke his jaw. 8 inches from my face, maybe 6.
Wow. What were you guys doing?
One of the thrillingest moments of my life.
Now, but didn't this Galella then follow him with like a football helmet?
Yeah, a helmet with an
Yes.
eagle feather on it, and it's a wonder he didn't get whacked again. But I didn't hear how that case came out for a long time, and then the next time I saw Marlon, I said, "What about the Galella thing?" And he said, "Best $56,000 I ever spent." Might have been 26. I don't know. A lot of money in those days.
Yeah. So you guys were just walking to eat or something, right? And he just came up and he got
Well,
sucked.
no. After the show I did with Brando, he said, "You want to go to a Chinese restaurant?" And I said, "Sure." He was trying to find an old Chinese restaurant that he'd known in his old days, and we went down to Chinatown, and it was that picture.
There's Galella.
With the helm. And it was, Chinatown was closed, in effect. It looked like the closed Chinatown standing set at Universal or something. Couldn't find it. Galella pulled up, hopped out of the car with his assistant, and I said, "Oh, God, it's Galella. What's one of Galella?" I said, the bigger one. I'll cut to the moment. "Hey, Marlon, take off those sunglasses." "Don't you get tired of the same picture of him?" "What'd you say?" Leaning in. "Don't you get tired of taking a sucker punch in the middle of a sentence?" He does that in 2 movies.
Wow.
That's Jesus. It came up from the sidewalk. And
Really?
I swear to God, it lifted Galella. Between the first and second knuckle, the teeth entered the Galella hand. And did you know that Morse's humanness is the dirtiest wound you can get?
What's
Human
that?
bite.
Oh, really? Oh, he been Brando's hand from
I know
hitting
you
him.
like Latin, and that's why.
Yes, I do. Very much.
Like Cavett is pantomiming
biting the
a
knuckles.
scar that resembled a vaginal
I wouldn't know.
We're gonna go. Oh, there we are, just before the moment.
Oh, that's wow.
Does that look arrestable on sight?
Oh, boy.
You both have on like neckerchiefs.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Is the style back then? 73.
You kind of look like Woody Allen's stuntman.
and he looks like a predator of some sort.
He looks scary.
We hopped
You don't want to
into
mess
a
with
cab
that
there.
version of Marlon Brando.
We got in a cab.
Yeah.
And the driver was Chinese. And he ordered us out of the cab. And he said, you make trouble. I see, you fight. I'm not good. He's from Harvard. And Marlon said, he turned on that surge of power that only he could do on the screen and said, "We're going to the Russian tea room." Yes, sir. Funnily enough, we passed, with his wound seeping, Last Tango on a marquee. So that dates it for me when it was. Last Tango was just out. I was working at Time as a copy boy, and a woman came in who worked there and said, Jesus, I just saw a screening of this new movie, Last Tango. And right at the beginning, Marlon just throws this woman up against a wall and fucks her right on the screen. And I thought, is there a cartoon? What a guy.
What about that picture of him that we talked about recently, that famous picture of him blowing Wally Cox or something? They did it at a party?
Yeah, I saw that
You
picture.
saw this?
But
I never
people-
heard of that.
People said that they started sending another form of that picture, and it has something to do with a carrot and a horse. And then they turned it into...
There is such a picture?
Oh, yeah. Well,
was that a photo?
So in other words,
there you go. This picture made the rounds.
Whoa.
it's okay. Brando was blowing a horse. He was not blowing Wally
It
Cox.
just appeared behind you, and I think you're
One
right.
is much younger. No. One is a mimic. This is even much younger. And this one,
Yeah. and then
right
there-
there, he's younger. You could tell.
Who can tell it's Brando?
It looks like him, I guess.
It
But
does.
I think he's.
Yeah, I
they
think
said he
the eyes
invented
are
it.
right.
And how did Wally Cox get a black cock?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just the
Not
lighting.
easy. Practice.
That's why Brando liked him.
Practice.
That picture's that's been making the rounds for many years.
But they were fucking each other, weren't they? Marlon Brando and Wally Cox.
Not while I was there. They had an apartment. There were three individuals, as a cop would say. The one individual, of course, was Marlon, and the other one was Cox, and the third one was a raccoon. He had a pet raccoon.
Did he really?
Or Brando did, yeah.
They shared an apartment.
Marlon did.
Yeah.
He said I could call him that.
What was it like going out with him?
My God, Marlon's an anagram for normal, isn't it?
Hey.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Nice.
Oh, this is
If you
scary.
add the second name, it's normal and broad.
Uh-huh.
And Broad.
It's too late to tell him.
I know. He knew, though. He knew.
He probably figured that out one night.
I'm sure you could get that, what's his name, John Edwards or something, who speaks to the dead.
Wouldn't you love to get
He helps people. So what was Brando like to go out with? Like, you going out with probably the biggest star in the world.
Yeah, I would remind myself of that, but it didn't seem that way. He was personable, and he liked to talk, and he gave me unreadable books that he would do about philosophy and.
Okay, now here's the thing I suspect about Brando. And it's a quote, a famous quote from Truman Capote that always stayed with me because I believe it.
A New Yorker piece.
Okay.
Capote.
Yeah, Truman Capote said that all actors are dumb. And I believe that.
I know what he meant, but I gave him a very bad time because he said it on a show of mine. And it sort of tainted our relationship. Acting can't afford to be intelligent because they have to have no personality or mind. They have to absorb other people's minds and personalities. And I said, that is so much crap, Truman. I know actors who would make you look like a member of the Jukes family. Most people don't know that reference. They were feeble-minded, as they used to say.
They don't sound bright.
No, we
The
assume
Jukes
they.
and the Calicacs were two.
See, at first I thought you said that make you look like a member of a Jew family.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jukes.
Why does he?
You have to be my age to remember.
Why does he
the
got to
Ju-
bring up?
Well, Google the Jukes and the Calicacs.
Now, do you
They're
believe
spelled
that?
the usual way?
Now, Mr. Cavett, do you believe? I
You don't
feel
stop
like
calling me
Senator
that.
Joe
I'm gonna
McCarthy.
slap you.
Huh, Mr.
You can call me Mr. Dick.
Yes, Mr. Dick. Mr.
You make
Dick.
it sound awful.
Do you believe that it's coming out now that Hitler liked to get shit on?
No, it was a well-known comedian.
Well, Danny Thomas, we know it.
We've heard that.
Yeah,
we already know about
But-
Danny Thomas.
But we've heard now news is coming out Hitler liked to get shit on, but without the glass coffee table.
Oh, no. How did this come out now? Come out's an interesting word. Phrase. What,
They said they found old medical records about his mangled penis. There's been these weird rumors about him in toilet games for years.
Yeah, of course. I get a laugh now at a personal appearance, but for some reason, because one night somebody said, "Do you like everybody in show business?" Dumb question from the audience. And I said, no, they're some of the worst people in the world. They're well-known stars in the business. And terribly disliked. Jack Benny was probably the most loved man in the business ever. His generosity, his kindness, all the things he did. And then at the other end of the scale, there was, well, a comedian, I won't say his name, but his initials were Danny Kaye.
Oh, wow. He was a real dick, huh?
I heard he was hated.
Yeah.
Everyone I've spoken to who've met him has hated him.
What was wrong with him?
Yeah, what was his problem?
Yeah.
Prickness.
Oh, just a prick.
Just prickness in general.
Rude, ungrateful.
In Tony Curtis's book, Tony Curtis says he ran into Danny Kaye at a party, and Danny Kaye was very insulting, kept insulting him, and finally Tony Curtis said, "Fuck you, Danny."
I love wit in every form. I'll try to make this quick, but Danny Kaye came on my morning show. In those days, I still liked him. To me, he's a comedian you grow out of. As a kid, you think he's great. And later, anyway, he came on. He adored me, which is always kind of embarrassing. Many of the worst people adore me.
I'm a big fan.
I couldn't think of a compliment to give him because I had soured on him years earlier. But there he was, and the audience was in awe of him. And I said, you are... I thought, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? You are the most graceful of all comedians.
Oh, yes.
And things you could do physically and verbally. And that night he broke his ankle. Everybody was happy, and he came back on him. He was out of the musical Flowering Peach, whatever it was on Broadway, in which he distinguished himself in Boston by unzipping a lady's dress during a serious song she was singing. And he spoke to me, boys and girls, 3 times from the stage the night I was there. I got farther and farther down.
Oh, you were uncomfortable.
Now,
tell me if you've heard this. Even you, Gottfried. Gottfried, is it? By the way, that's a devastating thing to use. Tom, is it? Tom, 2 beats, is it? Try it out. It's magic. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Danny. The last night of that musical, when It's a Wonder He hadn't been murdered by the entire cast, which sold out every night he was in it. He took 2 weeks off, and they had 20 people per night, and then he came back and showed his great power. Anyway, the last night, closing night, in a moment of generosity, he gave everybody, I'm making a gesture, about 6 by 6 foot piece of wood, inlaid, probably from Dunhill's, a cheese board with a nice little silver knife for cutting the cheese with it, pardon the expression, for severing the cheese from, and everybody got one. Probably 90 of them, all the gypsies, everybody. They all hurried home or out of the theater to see him come out. Can you see it coming? Through the alley. And all the cheese boards were in the garbage cans and on the floor.
Wow.
Every single one.
So he saw it?
He couldn't miss it.
Okay.
Now, most importantly, were Danny Kaye and Laurence Olivier sucking each other's cocks?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think only one was. Really not a set of guys. That's another unkillable rumor in the business, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, I've seen that photo of Olivier and him, though, in that mirror with Kaye. Danny Kaye was in good shape for a comedian. Comedians usually not fucking ripped like that in the 40s.
Ripped.
Well, he did a dirty trick on Olivier.
Yeah.
He set it all up so that when he came through customs once, and
he put on a disguise.
They made him strip in a strip search in a room, and then the guys revealed themselves as people hired by Danny Kaye.
Huh. Was he a funny comic though? As in, like, I don't remember anything he did.
Danny Kaye?
Yeah, I can't.
See, you didn't grow up in the right time to see him in Hans Christian Andersen, Mary Andrew, the one where he does a fabulous duel with the great Basil Rathbone, who was the best swordsman in Hollywood, by the way. And You should make a point of seeing the funny ones.
Oh, Hans Christian Andersen, and The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
What's the one with all the beautiful, complicated, articulate songs that he does so well? Well, he probably does one in every movie. His wife wrote all his great material for him, and he was apparently a shit to her.
I don't like musical comedies, though. That type of stuff never really... I prefer slapstick.
Well, this isn't like Marietta or so. It's, what's the one that he's the fun... The Jester is in the title.
Court Jester.
Court Jester. Oh, is that with the pestle, with the something...
The vessel with the pestle, the flagon with the dragon, with the something has the brew that is true. And the great Mildred Natwick is in that.
Wait, that's from there. Sort of any video of that? George Carlin.
The vessel
Zero.
With the pestle has the pellet with the poison, Gilbert.
Carlin, even a handsome guy, though,
Flagon with the dragon has the brew that is true, and he gets it mixed up, but it's quite brilliant.
Carlin liked him, huh?
Loved him.
I didn't know that.
It was Carlin's guy, huh?
Yeah.
The audience at home.
No. Carlin worshipped him growing up.
Yeah.
And then he said one time he was waiting outside the theater where Danny Kaye was going to come out, and there were other group of kids, and Danny Kaye was like, basically, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, there are 100 stories like that about him, and yet he was publicly UNICEF, or one of the children's things. Yeah.
Well, that's what he used to be when he was with Laurence Olivier.
Is that another word for
Yeah, that's
Carlin. George, wasn't it?
George Carlin.
Yes. I like that. I think you're trick.
That's a great trick.
Why was Jerry Lewis canned from the telethon?
I don't know, because it's so funny. Nobody says the muscular dystrophy telethon. You always say the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Or Jerry Lewis show.
The Jerry Lewis show.
Yeah.
And ever since he was canned, nobody cares about muscular dystrophy anymore.
They fired him, or
I remember when he had raised millions and millions, and somebody wrote an article saying, this is money utterly wasted. We're not getting away with this disease. No recent research has produced anything. And one of the stories was Jerry just spent $1 million a year on Cadillac limousines and things for himself. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't he step down? They're saying he stepped down.
No, I think they fired him.
Yeah, I met the man who did it at an odd cocktail party.
Yeah,
my distinguished moment in life is I forgot to fire Jerry Lewis.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, Jerry was, as people say in show business, always nice to me.
Oh, yes.
Jerry's a dear friend of mine. I worked for him.
Yeah. Oh.
What'd you write for him?
You wrote for him. That's right.
That 2-hour spectacular
disaster.
My
God, that was a disaster.
It's like having been on the Hindenburg.
They gave him 2 hours to do whatever he wanted with. It was like, and I was a kid, and I loved Jerry Lewis, so I wanted to, and even as a kid, I thought, oh, this is a piece of shit. This is.
I could do an hour on that show. I imagined a little voice in Brooklyn, was it, saying this is a piece of shit? Must have been you.
Oh, yeah. But it's like ever since they fired Jerry Lewis, then the next telethon was like an hour long. Or
hosted
something.
By the late Jack Bailey or something.
Yeah, and
that's a name you don't know, isn't it? Jack Bailey.
Jack Bailey.
He was a kind of a seedy, I hope his daughter isn't listening, a kind of a seedy host of very low-level game shows for years and years.
Jack Bailey.
And the great Jack Parr.
Yeah.
The year I started working for him, and Jack took the show to Hollywood for the second time. Before that, he couldn't get anybody. Jack was new. He couldn't get any guests. This trip, a typical 4-guest show would be Red Skelton and Peter Lorre and Olivia de Havilland and Cary Grant or something. Jack got everybody. And in the first monologue, he said, I'm so thrilled the people we have on the next 2 weeks. The last time we were here, I had to pull strings to get Jack Bailey. And pull strings to get Jack Bailey was perfect wording. Jack was a brilliant ad-libber. He hasn't had enough credit for that We all know our friend Fat Jack Leonard, right?
I know the name.
Yes.
I know De Niro's a big Fat Jackie Leonard
You
fan.
are Todd, aren't you?
Here's a
yeah, that's the voice.
Yeah.
I lost more weight than you are. Why don't you put your glasses on backwards and walk into yourself? Boom. Well, he was very funny, a lovely man. He always brought cufflinks and things, gifts to the staff when he was on Tonight Show. And I liked him a lot. And but Jack came up one night to me and said, you know, Fat Jack's on tonight. You know how when he says something, you have to say something back, and then he plays off that, and then you get something, you have to... I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit there. So Fat Jack comes on, he starts doing his stuff. Let's put your glasses on backwards and walk into yourself. I want a woman who was sober. Jack says nothing. My cousin is sober. I don't even nothing. And poor Jack Leonard started to sweat. It was almost sad. Jack would just sit there, or at the most say, "Indeed, Mr. Leonard." And finally, Jack Leonard, desperate, reached for something to say, a fact from his life. He said, "You know, my wife's an acrobat," and Jack said she'd have to be. Brought down the house. I told him about it later. He didn't remember it.
What was the big fight that Jack Parr had with Walter Winchell? Didn't they go back and forth?
Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten that. Yeah, Jack was the only one with the courage to attack the great Walter Winchell. Of course, Walter Winchell had lost a couple of his fangs by that time, and was sort of a pathetic character. But what's the movie with Tony Curtis and that's supposed to be based on Winchell?
Oh, The Sweet Smell of Success.
Yeah, Winchell was powerful, cruel, bigoted turd, and but nice. One day I get a phone call. Mr. Winchell would like to talk to you. This is way after the height of his career, but he was the voice on The Untouchables. Brilliant.
Yes!
Because his show always began with, "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. North America and all the ships at sea, let's go to press. Washington." He had that kind of delivery. He had been a vaudevillian. "Walter Winchell wants to take you to the Copa tonight." And I had to get into a tux because he was wearing one. And this old fossil who had been a giant in his day showed up at my apartment, picks me up, tux, cummerbund, a 38 in the cummerbund, because he thought they were out to get him, and in fact they'd forgotten him.
Wow. Oh, jeez.
And he liked to get in a car. During his whole career, he had a police radio. He had permission to have a police radio. So he'd chase down calls and get stories that way. He had the police radio and going with him. We went down to some precinct, and there was nothing there. They'd got a guy for loitering or something. And Winchell just didn't want to leave the police station because that used to be where, "Hey, Walter, great." None of the young cops knew who he was. And some kid said, "Hey, mister, talk again." "Oh, yeah, you're the guy from The Untouchables." And Winchell just glowed and dropped about 20 years. Identified for his voice on a television show. But what did he do with the rest of his life? I don't know.
Sounds like it was sad.
He was a bastard.
He was a nasty guy.
Really?
There he is now.
I'm especially important.
At Columbia Hospital, Washington, Mr. Brown is New York City's next commissioner of investigation. New York City. It's a baby boy for the John Costellos at Leroy Sanitarium. The lovely mother is the song star, Nancy Donovan. New York City, hear this. Dorothy Parker, the famous playwright and poet, will make a speech in New York on the 17th at a hall in Greenwich Village, probably on 4th Street, on behalf of the communists now in American jails for conspiring to overthrow the United States. Good girl, good girl.
What a cool delivery.
Yeah. It was really
Classic.
dramatic.
But I heard he was really pro, like McCarthy.
Oh, he was a rabid anti-communist McCarthyist. And one night he said live on the nationwide radio where everybody listened to him, and a president who doesn't know what the HELL is going on. That was Truman. Mm-hmm. And that almost ended his career.
For saying hell on the radio, or for
not even
bashing
saying
the
it,
president?
And spelling it.
Just spelling it.
Yeah, HELL. He was.
Wow, imagine if he spelled cunt, but with a K.
As Mel Brooks said about Hitler, he was a hell of a tap dancer. He was from vaudeville, and he was a tap dancer, and he danced on my show and Jack's show a couple of times.
Walter Winchell?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I heard during the show, Danny Kaye used to blow him. Is that Danny Kaye used to blow Walter Winchell? Or was that Marlon Brando?
On the air?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Marlon Brando and Wally Cox would be under his desk.
Yeah. Gottfried, you are going to leave your brain to a Harvard lab.
It does explain some of the stuff. We've got to stop the communist menace. A little less teeth. Now on to...
That's quite good. That's the sort of thing we expect from him.
So what do you think? These guys, you would get them to dance and do all this cool stuff on your show. It just seems like the celebrity interviews now are so much different. They're not like free-flowing. They're not comfortable.
I don't know what that is. People always say nobody's doing what you did, and I don't know what that is. For one thing, I had 90 minutes, which in some ways is easier than doing 7 with somebody.
Can I explain what it is, Mr. Cavett? Because me and Gottfried were talking about it before you came in here. Nowadays, late-night talk shows, every minute, every second is important. They got to fill up the space. You would let the room breathe.
You feel an urgency all the time.
It's an urgency.
They're going to run into the commercial.
And it's also obvious that there's no surprises. There's the pre-interview where it's like, all right, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. And I would bet you that you barely had a pre-interview back in your day, and you would let...
Jack Parr established how that kind of talk show worked. Maybe Steve Allen did. Essentially, there was a staff with a number of people who would call Peter Ustinov or whoever the great guests were, or the bad guests, and say if there's anything you want to talk about, or they would just say, I don't need anything. I know Jack or Dick or whatever. And I found one of the best things you could do is abandon your notes right away.
Of course.
Because the best advice, and I'll tell it only one more time, came from Jack Parr. The most neurotic, exciting, strange, troublesome, hateful at times, brilliant TV presence ever. Danger, sense of danger and everything he did. Anyway, he called me up. He was off by then. I was starting. He said, hey, kid, listen, I got one piece of advice. Whatever you do on a talk show, don't do interviews. And I thought, what do I do, sing the whole show? He said, no, interviews. You know, that's Q&A, and what's your favorite color, and David Frost and his damn clipboard and his jet lag, and what do you think of him, what do you... Make it a conversation.
It's funny on talk shows when the host will go, hey, I don't remember, I read somewhere or overheard, you were stuck in an elevator in a gorilla suit? And it's like, that wasn't prepared. That just came up in conversation.
That phrase I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody said the other day. But some people are hard to converse with, but when a conversation goes and you're thinking, I just can't wait to talk about this and talk about that, and instead of that dreary Midwestern little junior high school girl's question, who's been your most interesting guest? My most interesting guest? How can you answer? Who's your favorite guest? Well, how can you say?
Right.
There's a winner among thousands of interesting people. And if pushed to the wall, I say, Groucho meant the most to me. There's the hat with the 3 balls.
What about Woody Allen? You guys had some great riffing.
Yeah, he was on a lot of times at the beginning, and from the daytime show and others. Woody, when he started appearing on television, was on the Merv Griffin show. And he was new and paralyzed with nerves, but he acquitted himself well. The name Henry Morgan may not mean much to you.
Oh, yeah.
But you will.
Yeah.
But Woody did a stand-up on Merv. Very nervous. I was there to calm him and give muscle exercises. And then he sat down, and Morgan was a little nasty. And Woody had done a piece about his mother, I think. Merv said, Henry, you and Woody both do comedy. Do you have much in common or something? And Morgan said, I do, But, referring to Woody's piece, but I had two parents. And the audience kind of went, ooh. And Woody said, what were they? He's forgotten it, but I never had.
Those moments were so great. There was a great one between Richard Pryor and Milton Berle. I think it was on Mike Douglas.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable.
What?
Where they got angry. Milton Berle was telling a story about some girl who had gotten an abortion. It was important to him. Mm-hmm. And Pryor, I think, laughed or did something.
Yeah, he started laughing. He was probably stoned out of his head.
Or a little nervous. It's right here. And you have your headphones. You hear it.
Let's play this. Yeah.
Let Dick get his headphones on.
Well, I ain't got no headphones.
Oh, hold on.
No wonder I've missed everything.
Oh, you little angel. Hold on.
All right, yeah, let's play this.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Not happy to abortion.
Well, I'm sorry, man, but I just did it.
I wish, Richard, that I could have laughed at that time at your age, when I was your age, the way you just laughed now, but I just couldn't. I told you this 9 years ago. I'm going to tell you on the air in front of millions of people. Pick your spots, baby.
All right, sweetheart.
What did he say?
Pick your spots.
Well, he said, Milton said, pick your spots, baby. Yeah. And Richard Pryor went, all right, sweetheart.
Right.
But Pryor said he felt bad about that afterwards. He didn't want to argue with Milton Berle. He liked Milton Berle.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable.
That is intense.
By the way, the saddest thing among the people in this room is that I'm probably the only one who heard Fred Allen, all the years that Fred Allen was probably the wittiest person in show business, along with Groucho and George S. Kaufman. And in a letter to Groucho, Fred Allen didn't do well in television. He was great wit. And in a letter to Groucho, who had asked, why do you think Milton Berle has a smashing success? And Allen wrote back, Milton is the moron's messiah.
See, but Fred Allen, it's not a matter of good looking or bad. He was disturbing looking.
Yes, it was almost, he had a very pinched face. He was people of a certain age might remember him in the last years that he was visible, which was on What's My Line as a panelist, yeah. I didn't come here to talk about myself.
He had an unhealthy look, like big bags under his eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to come up with a picture of him.
I'm looking at it right now.
Sure.
He's got
the mask on. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see what he looks like, just a picture of his face.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was an odd-looking guy.
Yeah.
Once in a while,
to
this day, a stagehand or a camera assistant or somebody will come up to me and say, you remember that roast you were on way back with Berle? And I say, yeah. It was too soon for me to rank being on with it, but Jack Rollins got me into things before I was really earned them. So I'm on this big celebrity roast as one of the roasters, Hemian and Smith special, Kraft Music Hall, both sides. Milton is the host. And this is what the guy reminded me of. Milton got up and he started in his usual crass and often funny way. And I said, the kid spoke, Mr. Berle, are we allowed to ad-lib with you? And he was very irritated, but he said, you want to ad-lib with me? I'll check my brains and we'll start even. And I said, where would you find a small enough check room? Well, it doesn't quite scan logically, but it killed him.
Of course it did.
God. And the bastard came over to where I was sitting and said, oh, yeah, I see you had that written out. Not true. He was a bit of a schmuck, but
why did you like
a powerful comedian. Seeing Berle in a club.
Yeah.
Really?
Almost terrifyingly powerful.
Well, like the entire Saturday Night Live that he was on is legendary as far as everybody hated him.
Oh, yeah.
Did they have Milton Berle?
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard that.
He had that what am I doing now? Oh, there was a picture of me on something. Maybe that roast. But to this day, a workman on a show will come up and say, I think you said a Milton Berle that time. I'll never forget it. I don't know why that's so funny. Fred Allen, here's a bit of comedy history. A bunch of them used to sit around, I think, at Ruby Foo's, Alan King, other comics, Henny people, and compete for it was so windy, it was so hot, it was so old, it was so cute. Mm-hmm. He said, Fred Allen always won. And they were all ad-lib, and nobody knew what was going to say. My favorite was, it was so windy, I saw a hen lay the same egg twice.
Wow. That's a lot of wind.
Yeah, that certainly is a lot of
Blows
wind.
an egg back into a vagina.
I want to know.
I see.
Oh, is that what it means?
No,
Gilbert looked a little puzzled.
It immediately went from intellectual to you.
Well, you have no rural background.
Absolutely.
An egg back in the
You
vagina.
city boys talk the way you need to. I'll just focus on hen pussy.
It's similar to the great S.J. Perelman referring to psychiatrists as a head candler. If you don't have a rural background, you don't know what candling is. You know what it is? You candle an egg. You hold it up to see if it's been impregnated or whatever, or if it's still an egg, to a candle flame. So a psychiatrist was a head candler.
So you heard Pryor wasn't happy with that? With the thing with Berle?
Yes, I heard that he respected Milton and he felt like
he regretted that.
Yeah, he wished it didn't happen, or he didn't want to argue with him, and he kind of backed off. Like, you know, I mean, I think at that time, Pryor could have been. That's in the fucking 70s.
I wish I'd known that. Hey, can you imagine how strange it feels a week and a half ago to have somebody come up and say, you were great last night with Richard Pryor?
Oh, right.
And I thought, this guy's nuts. They're running my old shows starting about 3 weeks ago on CBS's new digital channel called Decades. You have to Google Decades and see. I don't know what the outlet is in New York.
Just go to dickcavettshow.com, and he's also promoting Brief Encounters. It's a new book that's available now. We forgot to mention that.
We haven't even talked about it yet.
I love your show. I love the way you spoke to people. It was so
amazing.
Casual and natural.
It was a conversation.
It was a conversation.
Like you said a little earlier.
Well, the one that ran yesterday, get this trio. It was Muhammad Ali, Lawrence Harvey, and Jerzy Kosinski, that fraud who committed suicide.
Oh, now why do you say he was a fraud? This is interesting.
Because it's a fact.
Well,
That's the only
a fraud
reason.
at what? He didn't write that stuff?
Yeah, he did, and he made up a background. He made up an identity for himself, a country for himself. It's too bad. He was a terrific guest, and I liked him immensely. And then to find somebody that fooled you, a total bogus character that he was, and committed suicide. I don't know whether he was about to be exposed. Well, I think he was exposed during his lifetime, yes.
Was it in that time he committed suicide, like right after?
Yeah, obviously a contributor
Yeah.
to it. Okay, from something, I think it was Gilbert, is it? It never failed. I first did it to a guy once who was interviewing me out in the Midwest, and he had told everybody what great buddies we were, and I had never met him. And he just did it so relentlessly that they said, when you go on the air with him, is there anything you can do to him? And so we talked for, this great friend of mine and I talked for about an hour, and then I finally said, Peter, is it? He crumpled. I felt awful about it.
Did
Somebody
he laugh at
knows
that?
the joke about you must know the joke about Burl in a nightclub.
Big dick?
Told with somewhat Jewish dialect.
No, what is it?
I saw Burl's naked ass, but I never saw his prodigious member. The way that, if it weren't for Burl's schlong, half the Friars Club's roast would be empty.
Yeah.
I heard a new one. Georgie Jessel another name the young have no idea of, and in some cases well-deserved.
Hello, Mama?
Yes!
This is Georgie. Yes, what? You seeing spots before your eyes? Well, why don't you put on your glasses, darling? Oh, now you can see the spots clearer. Hey, did you get that parrot I sent you? Well, you ate it, but that parrot spoke 10 different languages. Oh, he should have said something. And then his famous song, one bright and shining light that taught me wrong from right, I found in my mother's eyes. Those baby tales she told.
God, he knows the second verse.
Streets all paved with gold. I found in my mother's eyes, just like how
there are 7 more verses.
Lonely dog, I walked the straight and narrow till I reached my goal. A light from up above, a bright, unselfish love I found in my mother's eyes.
That is prodigious. My God, you're a gold mine of. But you know the only thing. No, I'm not criticizing. The only thing you left out. In the halcyon days of show business. He had the halcyon days of show business. Everything. Now, you can add that. Now, I had him on once, and he was on with Eileen Heckert, with another guest, and I got a lovely note from the great Eileen Heckert saying how nice it was to be on the show, but next time, perhaps, without Mr. Pig.
I heard that in the later years, Jessel used to go over to Groucho's house, not so much as a friend, but to have him give him money.
Yes, because he had alimony with at least 7 underage girls and 2 overage girls. And Benny, on one of these things one night, said, I've known George, for 50, 60 years. And to this day, he has earned well over $1,100. So we're sitting in a nightclub, forgive my attempt at a Jewish dialect, with my husband, and Milton Berle is up on the stage. And Milton is doing his jokes. And at one point my husband's had enough, and he yells out, and Milton Berle throws a line at my husband, says, you're something. My husband, without a second's thought, says right back, Milton Berle, fuck you. A real wit. Jessel. He was on a roast once. My friend Robert Bader, who did my DVD sets, knows everything in show business. And you rarely hear something new. Jessel was at the far end, the long table at the roast. It's not a very good status thing to be at the far end. But there he was, and he got up and he said, it's obligatory to do a joke about Milton Berle's cock. It's supposed to be very long. I don't know how long it is, but I'm standing on it. Terrible image.
Yeah, it certainly is. We got to sell the book properly, Mr. Cavett. What can you tell us about the book Brief Encounters?
Brief Encounters,
now, by the way.
If I don't get sued for the Noel Coward estate for the movie Brief Encounter, is a collection of my New York Times blogs, and it's about everybody and people in the show business and politics. They don't ask me what I'm going to write about.
Provocative
The ones
essays.
that have gotten some of the most reaction were kind of obituary for James Gandolfini, columns about Jonathan Winters, and one that people of a certain age can't quite get over because the youth of today, who know nothing ahead of their birth, don't even know who Laurel and Hardy were. Was it a moving company or what? And I spent an afternoon with Stan Laurel for about 3 hours in his apartment, little apartment, overlooking the ocean in Santa Monica.
How old was he then?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. He was in his 70s. He lived quite a number more years. He wrote letters every day to his fans. Everybody wrote. I remember the first one I got was, "Thank you for your nice letters so graciously expressed," or thoughts so good. And he was really a gent. And when I opened the door to his apartment, not believing that I was going to go to bed that night, having met Stan Laurel, who helped the fat man push the piano box up the 95 stairs, and it kept coming. That short won an Oscar. But the door opened, and there was a nice-looking man. He'd filled out a bit in the face, but the ear was recognizable. Another part of the face was instantly recognizable. And then in the voice, I think it's called in speech people a bilateral sibilance. "Well, lad, it certainly is nice to meet you." It sort of sounded like this. And he told, one thing I remember, he said, people would come visit him, and he said, "I had some guy here, and he did my voice the whole time. The dumb son of a bitch did my voice the whole time." He said, "I was so embarrassed I didn't know where to look." He had an Oscar on the TV. No showbiz pictures. None. A picture about 4x6 of him with Ollie.
Wow. With Ali?
With Ollie.
Wow.
That was not Muhammad Ali.
Oliver.
Yes.
Oh, Ollie.
Oliver.
I'm sorry, Oliver. I thought you said Ali. Okay.
I thought you thought
Yeah,
that.
you were right.
Yeah, we all thought that.
Ollie, wow.
Now, what's weird? Someone brought up to me, and I find it weird too that I've never heard Stan Laurel and Charlie Chaplin ever referred to each other, and they came over together.
Thank you for setting me up with this.
I told him that.
See? No, you told me that Charlie Chaplin was blowing Stan Laurel under Walter Winchell's desk.
There's a theme running through your work.
Yes,
that's right.
I asked him. Oh God, what did you say just before that? It reminded me of. Anyway, I asked. There were always rumors that they never spoke off camera and everything. That wasn't true. But Hardy had no interest in the films. He couldn't wait to get out of the thing and get on the golf course. And Stan said to me, "I always saved Babe's," he was called Babe, "Babe's burns till the last, because he was so goddamn mad that he couldn't get to the golf course. And so those great burns on his face were saved. But he didn't have any interest in the movie. He didn't do anything to help them. And Stan worked until midnight editing and changing and so forth. And I said, "So you two were friendly?" And he said, "Yeah. I wish I could have gotten this on tape." He said, I'll stop doing the voice. I went over at Christmas once, and I brought Babe a present of some sort. And it was obvious that he hadn't gotten anything for me. But that was all right, he said. But Babe was obviously embarrassed, and so he looked down under the Christmas tree, and he picked up a very, very expensive bottle of bourbon and said, this is a great bourbon. There's only one place you can get this in Los Angeles. And he put it back down under the tree.
But how come Stan Laurel and Charlie Chaplin?
Oh, that's the thing.
Yes.
You cue me better than anybody.
Yes. Now, you were stuck in an elevator and a girl or something.
Yeah.
Did you ever blow Wally Cox, Mr. Cavett?
Not in the daytime. What does that mean?
It means you're at night.
Well, okay. I was sort of annoyed, but the great publishing event one year was that finally Charles Chaplin let out his autobiography, and it sold like crazy, and it was bore your ass off, and over melodramatic. description of his mother's insanity, and thus the fates dealt with mother. Anybody who could write the line, thus the fates dealt with mother, has something wrong with him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Chaplin wasn't talented.
Yeah.
But I asked Stan about him, and I said, you know what, aside from the boredom of his book, there's a picture of you with him in it and the Carnot troupe that they belong to in England coming to America for the first time on the ship. And yet your name doesn't come up anywhere in the book. Having two great comedians arrive at the same time was too much for the little fellow. And he said, he didn't criticize my comment. He just said, it's a crime to mention me in the same breath with Charlie.
Wow.
Meaning he thought Charlie was that much better?
Yeah.
Damn.
Fascinating.
Wow.
That was a night. He had a letter he gave. He said, you might want to read this. And it was this beautifully handwritten letter, a couple pages, nice stationery, beautiful handwriting. And in it, first paragraph I saw, glancing at it, was, I have always tried to emulate you in so much of my work. Alec Guinness. He was flattered by having...
He wrote that to me.
He'd written it.
Yeah.
No, it was...
It was when I was
you
filming
got one
Problem
too?
Child. Alec Guinness wrote me.
It was duplicated. Alec Guinness, genuine class. Will I be remembered for that anagram?
We've already forgotten you today.
Yeah.
No one has ever punched you.
Well, Mr.
You and I did one of the best podcasts ever.
Yes. Yeah. You showed up on Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast on gilbertgottfried.com.
That's a mouthful.
That was, you were one of those guests that I love where you just click on the mic and then you could pretty much go out and see a movie and come back.
I loved your apartment with the Groucho picture.
Oh, somebody gave me a gigantic Groucho painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right next to the Adolf Eichmann.
Yeah.
you all know the late Larry Gelbart, of my king of comedy writers. Do you remember, you older ones, the head of the UN for a while was Kurt Waldheim of Österreich.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a biography. And right after his autobiography came out, it was discovered that he had been in the SS. He didn't mention that. Larry Gelbart said, there's a new disease we have to worry about. There's a new disease we have to worry about now. Waldheimers. I hope it came to his attention.
I didn't pee.
Yeah, we got to pee, Mr. Cavett. This is always a pleasure. Unbelievable.
Well,
promoting Brief Encounters' new book available now. I'm thinking I'm going to download this thing on my Audible. Did you read it?
Yeah, and you'll never believe this. My wife woke me up recently saying, I'm married to a Grammy Award nominee. The voice book, what do you call it? The audio book was up for a Grammy.
Nice.
People love the audio book.
Right.
And I say, why? It kills you to read your own stuff from 9 to 5, 2 days in a row, as you may know. They said, we do all the voices of the people you talk about. I sort of do that unconsciously. But it's a very good audio book.
Right.
Yeah. And it was in spoken arts, a category that isn't quite seen on the air.
So you you recorded?
Yeah, you read your own book.
Because I recorded my audiobook. I hated every second of it.
Doing it is murder.
Because they tell you how to talk. They're like, okay, slow down. You have to enunciate. It's like, I don't know how to talk. It's annoying.
You want to take that line again? And I got saying no. If that one's bad, use it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
See here,
Your voice.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, we have Gerry Cooney coming in, so I'm going to pee.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. I mean, if you want to
You're
stick
welcome to
around,
stay.
you're more
We'll
than
just
welcome.
bring Johnny up to
We're
the
not
front.
telling Dick Cavett to leave, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
you want to stay through the next
No,
break?
I'd like you to leave.
Yeah.
DickCavettShow.com for all the old shows.
We're meeting Wally Cox later. Odd that he'd be named that.
You said a mouthful.
Oh, no. Blackout.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be back.
Right back.
Do we just keep doing the same sort of shit?
Yeah.
I want to say, Dick Cavett's just an absolute pleasure, and I just downloaded your book. I want people to know that on Audible. I want to hear you read this one. Brief Encounters, Conversations. What's the slug line? Conversations. It just says Conversations.
Oh yeah, there's some additional title.
Yeah, but it was cut out. But I can't wait to.
That's right.
To dig into it.
Gerry Cooney has come in. Do you know Dick? Do you know Gerry Cooney?
Hey, Dick, we've run into each other somewhere in the Hamptons a bunch of years back.
Hamptons?
When we were both a lot
You look
younger.
so different from 10 minutes ago.
There you go. Gilbert Gottfried. Jimmy, how are you, bro?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Well, what is this, a reunion of our Breakfast with J.B. Smooth?
Yeah, that's right.
That was a good show. I saw you too.
That was crazy. Well, they were talking about dinosaur dung.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't get a hold of that.
You couldn't get a hold of dinosaur shit?
No.
I don't want to think that Gerry Cooney's hanging out in the Hamptons. This Gerry Cooney.
Them days are over. I was thinking about it. You grew up in Huntington, right?
Well, we just met for the first time. Growing up, it was all about Gerry Cooney. We're from the same hometown.
You were trying to get all that ass I was getting all the time.
Well, I was. There used to be these Gerry Cooney sightings in downtown Huntington. Everyone would be excited, like he was just here yesterday.
Did I hear the phrase dinosaur chips?
What's that?
Similar.
Yeah.
You could put that in.
No, what did I hear?
Dinosaur
dung.
Oh, dung.
Dung, yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was on with us.
Gilbert remembers dinosaur dung.
Hey, look, by the way,
He set up his own line. This
Yes,
son
he
of
did.
you look great, by the way.
For my age.
No, you look great.
How old are you?
I looked it up.
don't know.
I looked it up.
Wow.
I've lost count.
I looked it up. He looks great for his age.
I'll give you a hint.
And he's ridiculously sharp.
He is.
Yes.
I remember my mother coming out into the yard in Grand Island, Nebraska on a beautiful day and saying, "You kids come in the house. You'll listen to the radio and it'll mean something to you someday. The Japs have bombed Pearl Harbor."
Ooh.
Wow.
I didn't know who the Japs were. I didn't know who Pearl Harbor was.
Wow.
There was a Pearl Wilson next door. And we listened to this and had no idea what was going on.
Wow.
And I remember a man in that room, a school teacher, I think, saying, "Oh, my God, the kids in junior high now are going to get the worst of this." And he was exactly right.
Why did they get the worst of it?
They matured just in time.
Oh, just to go fight, yeah.
instantly.
Oh, gotcha. Of course. That's, yeah.
Well,
Can I say how old you are?
You could really bring a room down.
on a cheerful note.
Yeah. On a cheerful note, AIDS is strong.
I really could now if I were to tell you about the Uber driver the other day who, in the whole trip, told me the 4 ghastliest accidents he had witnessed.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez. All right, tell us.
I can't do it. One involves legs on the sidewalk.
Nothing on Sandy Hook, Dick?
I don't know her.
Wow.
Great name for a stripper, Sandy Hook.
Gilbert, you'll appreciate this. I just got a text from my wife. Carrying home a glass coffee table and pushing a stroller is harder than I thought.
Hey, what a wife.
Hey, hang on to her.
That was a crazy segment you guys were having. I was listening to you guys.
I really want to. I want to.
It's pretty shitty.
I want to hang out under a coffee table, not for the turn on, just to check it out. More of a freak showy thing.
What about the rainbow shower?
No, not really.
What's the rainbow?
What's the rainbow
Wait a minute.
shower?
What is the rainbow
I know
shower?
Roman is vomit.
Rainbow showers, you take a shower together and you piss on each other.
Wait.
That's
Oh,
clean.
the rainbow
That's
has
clean.
a whole bunch of different colors, so I was wondering where you were getting.
Yeah, where do you get the...
That's a rainbow shower?
It's some kind of shot.
I never heard that. I've had a rainbow drink.
See, it wouldn't be rainbow unless you had blood in your urine.
Yeah.
Oh, no, all urine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so listen, are you still out in the Hamptons? Gotta be, right? So,
Technically, it's the village of East Hampton, but it's Montauk.
Yeah, see, when I think about you, I think of the Hamptons, that magical area out there where God hangs out.
Fuck the Hamptons.
Yeah,
I want to know about a rainbow shot.
I was in East Hampton too, but probably not in the same neck of the woods as you was. I was on the bay. I was on the
bay.
Lion's Head Beach.
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
were on the,
That's
you
a
were
nice
probably,
part of it.
You were probably on the ocean, right?
Well, the Hamptons have gotten so goddamn glitzy that now it's insufferable. I mean, it's like being at an award show or something.
Well, people at the end of the season used to sit out in their chairs on the side of the road waving people goodbye to get out of my town.
Yeah.
You know?
One year, my beach was all sand, all nudists, and then the summer ended, and the same day the sand went away. And came back the next day when the people had gone. It was a weird...
Mostly men or women?
A geographic joke that has no humor in it.
Was it mostly men or women?
I recall both pretty well, one more than the other.
All right.
But I would have 100 naked people on my beach, and it was a cove, so it couldn't be seen from elsewhere.
Right in front of your house, more or less?
Yeah, it's a house.
What a beautiful
my house, you go down to some cliffs.
But these nudist colonies are the places where you get those people you don't want to see naked.
It's always the case.
Many should be wearing a muumuu.
See, on TV shows, they would always have it in movies, a nudist colony.
It was paradise.
It's like
Perfect
everyone
people.
was a model there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it ain't like
And
that.
the reality is,
in the nudist magazines, too, like Sunshine and Health. Everyone is exquisite, and it ain't necessarily... The thing is, I don't know how nudist beaches affect you guys, but they're sexy for no more than 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you take an interest in the Scrabble game or something.
Well, that's kind of... I experienced that going into strip clubs. Like when you first walk in, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then after 5 minutes, you're listening to the music and drinking your Coke.
No, I take a lot longer than 5 minutes.
Can you go up to 7 minutes?
Yeah, I can get at least 10 minutes in there before I have to go in the back.
I sort of understand what Gilbert's saying, though. A little more than 5, but then you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I've seen it.
Now what? Because now they're hassling you for drink. It just becomes a fucking...
I fucking hate. I've had people get me this thinking they're doing me a favor. I hate lap dances.
Well, that's too bad you guys experienced that way, because as a celebrity back in my day, I didn't experience that.
Why?
It was all fun.
Yeah.
I got to the next place.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to end up at my house.
Yeah.
4 or 5. I had this great gym in my house with burgundy carpet and mirrored, and every morning the poor church across the street would see these women leaving my house around 10 in the morning. It was terrible.
So you took good advantage of being
Why not, man?
famous. Yeah, it's good.
Cooney put up some numbers.
Back
He
in
put
the
up
day.
numbers back in the day.
Yeah.
Look at him all
I don't
smiling.
appreciate it now, but it was great then.
I think it's great of Gilbert to admit that he's only interested in sex for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Then the free buffet.
He's not talking about the cumsies he made in his sweatpants in 5 minutes into the whole thing.
Must be bad news to somebody.
I'd like to see a stripper trying to finish a lap dance while you sing that Georgie Jessel song.
In the halcyon days of strip dancing, Jessel had many wives, and
yes, Cooney, what are you promoting today, man? At the fights? You're doing the show here.
I'm on a show twice a week.
Nice.
Rush Channel 93.
Right.
We're having a great time talking about the fight game. The fight game is so big right now. We got some great fights like Andre Ward's coming up against Sullivan Barrera. Manny Pacquiao's fighting Timothy Bradley again. I mean, Gennady Golovkin is fighting Amir Khan's. I mean, just the fight game is like, it died for about 10 years.
Sure did.
And now with
Deservedly.
Al Heyman, deservedly.
Oh, why?
Why is that?
well, it should be abolished. I mean, the number of casualties along with the NFL and what happened.
Listen, will you stop being so
Muhammad
cheerful?
Ali.
wait till Triple B. Come back over. You're killing me. You're killing me here.
Yeah.
Listen, the fight game.
Every time Dick starts to speak, everyone is putting a noose around their neck.
Oh, you mean the fight game? I thought you were talking about a flight game. Oh, okay.
Can I ask Mr. Cavett about the football thing? That's getting kind of crazy.
Football
with the concussions
players
and
die of cancer.
But now that they can't hide it anymore, they knew this was going on for many, many years, and they can't hide it anymore. What's going to happen to the sport, you think? How does this play out?
I don't care.
You don't care? How does it
Muhammad
play out,
Ali
though?
was a great part of my life,
Sure.
and this guy Bader that I mentioned, Robert Bader, is putting together a stunning special because Ali was on. I was surprised to learn 12 times on my show, and there was a time where I thought of him as my best friend, and he stayed at my house one night in Montauk, sort of accidentally. He and I were shooting something out there, a documentary for somebody else, and I said, "Why don't you stay at my place?" He said, "I'm staying in Dick Cavett's house. Ma, if I could tell my friend," and so I put him in the house, old house by the sea, and I went to get his wife to bring her over from the motel.
Which one was that?
we were in. Veronica.
That's good answer. Good
gorgeous,
answer.
of course.
Good answer.
But while he was alone in the house, my wife called from New York, and the phone was picked up, and she said, "Darling." And a voice said, "This ain't darling, it's only 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm watching your TV, and I'm in your bed." Now, to her credit, she said, "Well, Mr. Ali, I will put a plaque on that bed." It's just more than she ever did for me. But.
Did Ali walk?
Now, is it true that Muhammad Ali blew Ali up?
Yes,
Oh my God!
What about the people who didn't hear the other show?
You're talking about Muhammad Ali, right? Early on, he prided himself around how well you couldn't hit him, and he was great. As he got older, he prided himself around how he could take a shot. And obviously, when the ball joints go in your car, you got to change the ball joints. But in your body, the shock absorbers are going. This is what happens to you.
That's it.
Yeah.
And NFL did extensive studies and found out that it was from getting hit.
Does the victim know that stage has been reached, or does they
No,
have to be
'cause
told?
you continually.
Or does
obviously,
the neurologist have to tell them?
Well, obviously, you want to still keep fighting.
Yeah.
That's a human instinct.
Mr. Cavett, so it's got to be tough to see Ali like this, huh?
I'm sorry, my earphone just...
It's got to be tough to see Ali how he is nowadays, knowing what he was.
I know. In fact, in that book, I have a piece about the sadness of meeting him last 2 years ago. Yeah. And watch for this show with him, the stuff that he did on my show.
Oh, unbelievable.
Staggeringly. He was a better manipulator of the media than Abby Hoffman, who was one of the best. Just great. And I wrote poetry for him for the Jerry Lewis show. They put up a Roman forum and orator's set and all this stuff. He was so hip and so smart, so bloody smart. He came over to a Caribbean island that I was vacationing on. He was on another one, St. Croix. And I went over to see him, and I said, "Would you come back to Virgin Gorda?" A little plane arrived at the airport. Nobody white was there waiting for it except me, because everyone on the island not. And when that landed and the door opened and Ali stepped out, I saw people go mad. I mean, just
they lost their minds.
Big tough guys with sharpened teeth, as a racist would say, with afros, went, "Oh God!" and started to cry.
Wow.
Another guy ran out and started throwing punches at him. And he walked around the island, and it was like a messiah was there. And when he left, the little plane took off again and got smaller in the sky, and this big, mean, 300-pound muscle giant went, "Ali, Ali, Ali." He was crying.
Wow.
Well, he was power. He was known every corner of the world. He's the most famous man.
The most famous man in the world. They made up a sheet of the most famous, recognizable faces in the world. Charlie Chaplin at the time, John F. Kennedy, Orson Welles.
Right now, who do you think? I would think Michael Jackson at this point is the most recognizable face.
Well, who's the most famous person in the world that's living?
A Bantu tribesman looking at these pictures would say, Ali.
Sure. Who do you think is the most famous person living in the world?
I don't know how you could measure that.
I know.
It's Gilbert?
Maybe. Yeah. That's it. Now, so the condition Muhammad Ali's in now stems from the fighting.
Yes.
Most probably, yes. He's got Parkinson's, but they say it's directly related from taking those shots.
It has to. How did you wind up so fine? You're perfect. I mean,
that's a great question. And, fortunately or unfortunately for me, Don King owned most of the heavyweights in my day, and I wouldn't sign with him. So basically, he kept me out. He owned everybody but me, so he kept me out. And I was only fighting in the height of my career once a year.
That was a stroke of luck for you.
Well, I guess it turns out, but I wanted 4 or 5 more fights before I got a chance to fight Holmes. It never happened.
Would you, 31 fights total?
I can't remember. Oh, so.
What's the farthest back world championship fight that you were aware of by being alive?
Well, I mean, you talked about Muhammad Ali. That's how I became a fighter. I saw the magic in his face. Yeah. And I think he had the whole package. I think there's only one other fighter that was greater than he, and that was Sugar Ray Robinson. That was just unbelievable as a fighter.
Yeah.
But Ali had the whole package. Carmen Basilio, Jake LaMotta, Ray Robinson, Jack Johnson, Gene Tunney, Dempsey. I'm a fight guy, so I've gone back all those years.
You might be able to supply a gap in my knowledge. Who fought Billy Conn?
Joe Louis,
Lewis and Conn, of course. I was a little kid.
Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. All these comic talents here, I'm sure, would love to hear one of the times I made Johnny Carson laugh on the air. Hands?
I would love to. Yeah. I'm gonna guess it was the Pearl Harbor story, but go ahead.
No. It's not irrelevant to what you're saying. I was on the show. I think it was in California, but no, I think maybe it's still in New York. Doesn't matter. And the subject of boxing came up, and Johnny said, Richard, are you a fan of boxing? And I said, yeah, my knowledge of boxing goes back to the time, my knowledge of big-time heavyweight boxing includes Billy Conn and Joe Louis and the marriage of Ethel Merman and Ernest Borgnine. Does that mean anything to anyone in this room?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we certainly could figure it out.
I hate an audience where you have to have
we certainly can figure it out.
But you know what gets me with Ali? It's kind of like the same thing with Annette Funicello.
Well, they're very much alike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, what gets me is these people who are completely head to toe paralyzed, and they live so long in that condition.
Mm-hmm.
That drives. I mean, it would be one thing if that happened and they died immediately after,
right.
But they'll live for decades in that condition.
They say Ali is happy, though. People who know him have said that he's content. I mean, who knows? But
well, he was all about. He was never going to become like Joe Louis, right? And he was all about expression, all about his voice, and he lost all of that.
Yeah.
But people still love him so much. But I was thinking about Richard Pryor, who was a great guy. He told me he used to be fighting when he was an amateur. And he said he's in the ring boxing. He says you get one of those guys throws a shot from Chicago, gains speed, and when it hits you, he says there you are laid out on the canvas. He says you always get one of those assholes out in the crowd saying, "Get up! Get up!" He said, "Fuck you, that's how I got here."
What's the famous fight that Ruby Goldstein was really criticized for not stopping?
You know what? That's a great question, and I don't know that.
It's very brutal. I saw the clip from it recently. But
now, I must tell you, you're showing your age. Now you're showing your age.
By saying Ruby Goldstein?
Yes, you are.
I don't even know who Ruby
Goldstein is. It might have even been Ruby Goldstein. Who was the other famous one?
Arthur McCanty.
A friend of mine wrote a book called Corner Man that you would enjoy. It came out about 8-9 years ago. Gus Customata was and all those guys about the technique and the greatness of Corner Man. And what
Well, you know, and a lot of that died off because all the old guys, like you said, Customato, Eddie Futch, all those great trainers passed away.
Yeah.
And these young kids are coming in without the experience, a watered down version, and that's why boxing is hurting.
Who is the guy? I just shot something in a bar that they shot scene from Raging Bull in. It's a Jimmy's
Corner.
Yeah,
Jimmy's
Corner. That's where it was. And he wasn't his father or something. He was Ali's cut man.
40. Well, he's been in the business for about 100 years. That guy, and he's been with everybody. So you know, when you're a famous cut guy, you get the call all the time. So he's got Jimmy's Corner. It's got every fight.
It's amazing.
Great
Pictures of
bar.
Sugar Ray
Picture
Robinson. Pictures of
What were some of what was some of the horrible things that people would hide in their gloves and do to hurt the other opponent?
Well, you know, there's so many crazy things. They had plaster of Paris. The guy that fought from California here against Miguel Cotto, Panama Lewis took the stuffing out of Louis Resto's
and
gloves.
Replaced it with
nothing.
Oh, with nothing.
And so the
bare
kid,
knuckle.
the Irish kid was going back to the corner, talking to his father. He said, "Dad, I feel like I'm getting hit with rocks." So at the end of the fight, Louis Resto was a great fighter. He threw tons of punches but had no power. At the end of the fight, the old man came over to Louis Resto and said, "Congratulations," and grabbed his glove. And there was no padding in there.
Wow. So what happened?
Well, they got abolished from boxing. And that kid wound up getting drunk and killing himself in a car accident.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow. So this happens. I mean, you know, it happens in the game. Steroids are big time coming out now. But listen, the fight game is great. There's so many. You got to see the light heavyweight division. You got to see the middleweight division, the welterweight division. They got a kid from the Olympics, Errol Spence. He's fighting Chris Algieri in Brooklyn next month or so. Just boxing is big.
Do you watch UFC at all? Because to me, boxing, I love boxing, but they don't give you the fights fast enough. Like they made everybody wait for the fights. That's the reason why UFC caught on, because you get the fights that you want quickly.
They're always throwing
with boxing, you got guys like Don King and the promoters that
Remember,
seem
it would take a year or 2 years to finally see these guys fight back.
Mayweather, Pacquiao.
Well, yeah, but look at Mayweather did. He took 2 years or 4 years to make the fight, but he made $300 million.
Oh yeah.
All right, we don't blame them, but as fans,
I agree.
I'm with Jimmy. You know, you turn the corner, UFC is always putting the guys together that you really want to see fight. We love UFC right now. We both certainly grew up loving fighting.
Great, that's great. Right?
Boxing, I should say.
You love that game, but there's no history about 10 years from now. Those guys that have been taking knees to the head, elbows to the face. What's going to happen to those guys?
Right, we'll have to see as time goes on.
What already has in
many cases. Right.
How far would we have to go from this studio to find a person who could name the current heavyweight champion of the world?
Right here, right next to you, pal.
Right next to you.
You can't play.
To be, of course. And I would love to fight you sometime. I've been thinking about that with you.
No, I wouldn't wish that on you.
I know it was. We just talked about this the other day, and how people don't know. Klitschko lost to I forget the guy's name.
Tyson Fury.
But people don't know the heavyweight champ now, and that's an unheard of thing.
Growing up,
don't know the heavyweight
all
champ.
my life you've known him until now.
The most famous athlete on earth was always the heavyweight champ.
Well, the problem is there's about 20 championship belts. The real guy right now out there is Deontay Wilder, who's going to be fighting soon again. He's a really great fighter. Most of the knockouts was an Olympic fighter. You know, Tyson Fury's the other guy. I mean, Klitschko is coming back to fight Tyson Fury, but he's shy. He got old. And once you get, one day you look great. You know, you must hear it at home, guys. One day your wife says, "Wow, that was great last night." The next night, especially you, Gilbert, your wife says, "What was that?" I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's Tourette's. I can help myself.
Cooney doesn't fuck around. No, he's right.
I don't want to hear anything like that.
The only part you're wrong about is that she would say it was great the first night.
I don't ever like to talk about myself, but did you see my Ollie Fraser show?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
What about it?
What year was that? Would you tell me?
It would have to be 73,
wow.
74.
Jeez. Can you
They
imagine?
both showed up, and I sat between them, and I felt very safe.
Yeah.
But, of course, Ali mocked Fraser and so on. The moment that got me a little bit of hate mail was at one point Ali said, to Fraser across from him, let's be friends for just a minute and get this guy. And they both came at me,
right? Yeah.
and they picked me up and squeezed me between them. And I said, looking on the monitor, it looks like a giant Oreo cookie.
Hey, nice.
No, listen, I know.
Funny.
That's funny.
I know, Dick, you loved him, right?
Oh, God, yes.
And everybody loved him. But he got, picture this now, right? He gets stripped. He loses his license. Joe Frazier, now wasn't fast-witted. It was a slow guy from the South.
Yeah.
Got Muhammad Ali his license back.
Did he?
Gave him money.
Is this well known?
This is well known. Gave him money to help him.
I'm not. What are you doing?
Ali signs for the fight, calls him an Uncle Tom, calls him a gorilla. I mean, now obviously it was obviously,
But they left
publicity.
the studio friendly and.
But no, they weren't friendly. They were
He
never
might not have
friendly.
liked
Isn't it weird too?
No, that's a true story that Cooney's telling. That Frazier absolutely helped.
I mean, I
Ali
don't
when he
want
was
to. I
down
don't
and
want to bring
out.
the room down.
No, you're not.
Well, that's a great story, though, because not many people know that. And then he returned the favor by saying what you said.
Well, then, and also, listen, here's another story, right? Joe Frazier did everything his country asked him to. Ali decided not to go into Vietnam, right? Who do they got carrying the torch?
Right,
Muhammad Ali.
They got behind Ali.
They said Frazier. We interviewed Frazier. He was very bitter about that, and it seemed like
that's bad.
Yeah, he was very upset. It seemed like almost there was a cruelty at times to Ali. When you watched that Thriller in Manila special, it seemed almost cruel. Some of the stuff. You know, I still love Ali, but it's like you see that you're like, wow, man, poor Frazier.
I asked Ali once. Sorry, I asked Ali, what did it? Which one did it to you, Ali? And he said, Manila.
Really?
Well, that night in Manila, both corners were going to call the fight. Joe Frazier's Eddie Fletcher said, listen, throwing a towel in Ali's corner, Ali couldn't get up. And it just happened that Frazier threw it in first. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Man.
And they beat each other's brains out. I mean,
We had Frazier in here, and he was still holding that grudge to the end.
Right
To the end.
Old-fashioned guy.
Oh, he was awesome to talk to.
Amazing.
He sang half the time, but
he sang Mustang Sally. We don't know what
Mustang
happened.
Sally.
We were chatting, and the next thing you know, Joe's singing Mustang Sally. I'm like, all right, enjoy.
Joe told me a story. He was trying to get into this affluent neighborhood, and everywhere he turned, they kept pushing him out. So finally, he met this guy. He said, if you can get across this alligator-infested lake and get to the other side, we'll let you in. So he's swimming. He pulls the arm off of one, the leg, breaks the jaw. That's the tail. Gets to the other side. And the guy said, my God, Joe, how'd you do it? And Joe said, who pushed me? All right, it's old.
Wait, stop, back it up a bit. Kid Perrette.
Yeah.
Killed.
Emil Griffith.
And, yeah, that's the one I was referring to earlier, but I didn't give all the
That was
facts.
the Ruby Goldstein
There's
story.
a very moving documentary about...
That was 1962.
Was that Ruby Goldstein?
He died 10 days later of
That
brain
was the
injuries
one where
and
Goldstein
complications.
was criticized for
Yeah.
not stopping the fight. And you see him, he's one of those things where the head's down 6 or 7 times.
Well, you look pretty good doing that. You look good doing that, buddy.
Yeah. I wouldn't fuck with me if I were you.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't Emil Griffith gay?
It was never the same.
Maybe he was gay.
after that.
Yeah,
No, but wasn't he gay? And the other guy had called him a faggot or it said something anti-gay.
Well, sure, but that meant...
And that was why he punished
Spanish
him?
word that he called him?
Maricon?
Caraldo or something. It means faggot.
Geraldo.
He used to go...
Well,
You
Emil
have a lawyer?
Griffith was with Gil Clancy. He was a great guy.
No, but I mean, was he angry that the guy... Did he punish the guy for insulting him for being gay? That was...
they just showed that clip, I think.
Yeah, put the clip up.
What a
It's actually
fabulous-
online on YouTube.
Look at this shot.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, they don't need
You didn't show the... Oh, yeah, here it goes.
What year was that?
88.
62.
Really bad
Yeah,
footage.
here on the rope.
62.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that's a hell of a right.
But he's just beating him. I mean,
So far,
the guy didn't stop it.
No.
Those are
Wow.
a lot of unanswered punches right there. A lot of unanswered punches. The fight should have been stopped right there.
right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Over and over and over again.
Wow.
Uppercuts.
That was crazy.
All right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, but he let about 20 punches go.
20 punches, about 40 punches.
Wow,
maybe.
too many.
Oh, my
Am I
God.
the only one here who knows?
Look at him there. Look at him there.
That's the famous Don Dunphy.
Wow.
Was he dead there or later?
No, 10 days later.
Yeah.
Don Dunphy, is he the one in Raging Bull that's like, and nobody will fight them, so they fight each other? Is that's what it sounds like?
You're talking about the Raging Bull. Jake LaMotta fought Ray Robinson twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
That's what I was just referring to.
3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was just referring to. Yeah. Nobody wanted to fight them, so they
said, all right, we'll fight again.
That's like putting a concussed football player back in the game.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know how many people here know what it feels like to kill someone.
Oh,
I do, Dick.
Yeah.
With kindness.
No,
I'm kidding.
I wanted to kill you several times during this interview.
That's why they have it separated.
Every time you start to speak, I want to kill you.
I warn you, sir, that I have a dagger concealed in my garter. Here's the thing. People worry about their kids, and who wouldn't rather have a kid who goes to the library instead of hanging out in the street with tough guys and so on? Well, there weren't that many tough guys in Grand Island. No, I tell a lie. Lincoln, Nebraska. But I loved martial arts, having seen a Cagney movie called Blood on the Sun, I think, in which he does judo in Tokyo. And Cagney, of course, did it very well. So my friend and I used to stage judo things in our yard on a mattress. Anyway, I went to the library and I thought there must be books on judo, and I got one called Modern Judo. Lincoln, Nebraska Library. Modern Judo. Printed in 1919.
Wow.
Damn.
And there was a neck hold in it. Yukigoshi, I think it was in Japanese. And I learned this neck hold.
Used it on your wife many times?
I have a string of ex-wives. Got in a fight on the playground in 5th grade with Herbert Langus. I hope he's listening. Oh, wait, he couldn't be. You'll see why. So we got in this fight, and I thought, God damn it, I'm getting beaten out of this gravel. I'm going to get that neck hold. And I got it. And he just turned white. Fell to the ground. A tear came down his cheek, and everybody stepped back, horrified. And then he stirred and got half conscious and was all right. Oh. But I had, at that moment, killed him.
Wow. Tell me I'm not the only one with a heart on in this room right now.
How dare you?
That moment is so scary. This past weekend, we saw Holly Holm get knocked unconscious, just dropped.
Do you see those little couple of punches she threw when she was going out? That was like instinct, and then she just didn't tap.
Out cold.
Yeah,
so frightening.
She got choked out.
That was an amazing fight. Did you enjoy that, Jerry?
I did. I was rooting for her.
Yeah, for 2 seconds.
I was rooting for her to win. Now what's going to happen is Ronda Rousey will come back and fight Alicia, who she's beat twice.
Misha Tate, yeah.
It messed up everything. It messed up the whole Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm rematch.
No, because Ronda will fight Holly Holm again, but Ronda, if she beats Misha, will be the champion. It actually probably, if she beats Misha, gave them an extra fight.
And what she needed to do, she was so good at her stopping you so quickly. She didn't learn the other arts. She needs to learn the other arts.
Boxing too. Yeah, her stand-up was not as good.
I used to wrestle. I do not understand how you cannot take somebody down in the ring. How can you not? Mm-hmm. You grab a hold of the person. You maybe take a shot going in, but you grab the leg and take them down.
How many years you wrestle for? It was long.
I wrestled growing up.
You did.
Doesn't it annoy you in the movies? Almost all the movies from the 40s and the 50s up to now, and two guys get in a fight, and they're both standing, and they're like this, and the one guy's getting killed, and I yell, kick his legs out, for Christ's sake, and they never do.
That's crazy.
Jesus. Oh, by the way, that judo hold, I asked a sensei in Aikido dojo in Tokyo about that hold, and he said, that has been abandoned for 60 years, killed too many people.
Oh.
No kidding.
Well, he just brings up all these great topics for me. If you look back at the Cooney Norton fight, Norton was stuck on the rope. He couldn't fall down. They had to kick his foot out to get him to fall down.
But isn't that silly? They would be together, and their swords together like this. Mm-hmm. And you just think, well, kick them for God's sake. Now, there's an addendum to that story. Years later, I'm sitting on a TV.
There you go. Watch this here for a second. Watch this.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is... Wow.
Oh, God, what are we seeing?
Holmes and Norton.
Jerry
Holmes and
beating
Kenny
up
Norton.
Ken Norton.
This will be hard.
It's 50 seconds. Watch this real quickly here.
Yeah, it's a very fast fight.
What does the listener think we're doing?
Just watching fights, they can hear it.
Now watch, he falls on the rope here. Watch, I hit him with a shot.
Oh, wow, you hit hard. Jesus Christ.
And he sits on the rope. He's stuck now. He's just stuck. He's out cold. See him?
Oh, yeah, he's sitting.
Did you know he was out or no? You couldn't. You
in that moment, your adrenaline's flowing. You cannot stop it. But he was out cold that night.
Wow.
And he was stuck on the rope. You bring all these great topics up for me to bring out.
There.
Wow. I forgot about that fight.
Listen to this.
Jesus Christ.
You don't have to listen if you don't want to. Years later, I'm sitting with G. Gordon Liddy. And I hate to be a name dropper.
Oh, come on, Dick.
And this is on the PBS show. And I said to him, I heard that one of the things you most like to do when you're visiting a store, you like to take a secretary and show her how to kill someone instantly with a pencil. And he said, yes. And I said, well, would you show us this? It might come in handy. And he said, no, I won't do it on the air. I'll show you later. And I said, okay, I'll trade you something for it. He didn't know it. End the show. He shows me how to take a pencil, a sharpened pencil, of course, and hold it like when you give someone the finger, with that braced against that finger, put it right up through the throat. It goes right up into the brain pan, and they're dead. And do you ever run out of pencils? So I got Liddy. I said, put your back to me. I'll show you something you might like in that line. And I got this neck hold on him. And this is in the green room. Nobody saw it. And I gave it just a little pressure. And I thought, I could kill him. Public service. But I liked Liddy. I still like Liddy. But I told him that thing, and he turned to me as I released him and said, I thank you for that.
Oh, Jesus.
I thank you for it.
Yikes.
Masochism.
Wow.
Is anybody
missing?
Yeah. Welcome to another
see
edition
what it is?
of Uplifting Stories from Dick Cavett.
Hey, Opie,
the truth.
You got a great job. You got a great job, bro.
Today, we're just sitting back listening to Dick.
I love Dick Cavett.
He wants to do the hold on you, Jimmy.
I'll show you guys that hilt afterwards, but it really is lethal.
Well, I want to see it on
Jimmy,
on
will you take it?
Oh, yeah.
Why Gilbert?
It's called judo.
What's the sound?
A well-mannered boy like Gilbert, why would you?
Dick, try it on Jim Norton.
I would let you do it as long as you don't.
Well, you really want me to put it on?
You're not going to hurt me, are you?
Okay. The truth.
I don't care if you're hurt.
I don't want to die.
I'm a very sweet boy, Gilbert.
Let me tell you, when you think neck hold, you think something like this, don't you? You know that.
Yeah, he's yes.
This one.
By the way, when I tap, that means no more.
By the way, you should see your security man outside watching everything you're doing right now.
Oh, good.
Oh no, that's Ken. He's homoerotic. He's just enjoying the sight of two men touching each other.
Watch this.
Dick knows what he's doing.
He's got me around.
Bend down, bend your knees a little bit.
Bend your knees a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
This arm goes here.
Right arm is under my neck, right on the throat.
Right there. Wait a minute.
That's never a good sign when they're figuring it out as they're doing it.
That's the move right there. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Right? Then.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
He's got
Don't even dare push it more than a quarter of an inch. You see the potential?
Yep.
It breaks the voice box.
Now, I just want to tell you something, Dick. All that time it took you to do that takes me about 1.25 seconds to make the same thing. Little left hook, it's over.
That's true.
But watch this. I do it like that.
That's true. You really
have a care.
You were really close to just like snapping my neck and making this radio show a lot better.
Would I be rewarded?
It would be. The fans would love you.
But you can see the meanness.
Oh my God! It's right on your windpipe. It's very, very painful. But Jerry again has a faster way of doing it. I mean, I would probably rather get knocked out. I don't know. I don't want to see a punch, but
because he would shatter your
jaw. It wrecks your voice, which is the thing you need.
Yes.
Remember when Richard Belzer was knocked?
That's right.
Yes, with
the wrestler.
Well, I got to make him suffer a little bit. I hit him in the rib first before I get to the head.
God.
So
You're left, Jerry. You lefty, right?
I'm by foot right.
I was making note of that.
Yeah, Richard Belzer had on Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. And at one point, you could hear it on the tape. Belzer says, "Hey, can you show me one of the choke holds or
Sleeper
demonstrate?"
hold.
Yeah,
Sleeper hold.
the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
And you could hear it on the tape that Hulk Hogan leans over to Mr. T and whispers, "I'm going to make him scream," or something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There it is, right on this. Look at this.
Oh, and the way
he just flopped out.
When his head comes up, it's blood pouring from
I
it.
was a sleeper hole. He'll be all right.
What's for the bleeding?
A lot of people.
Was he really up?
Oh, yeah.
Look, he was bleeding.
It works.
Wow, he let him go like that.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this word.
Look at that showmanship.
Belzer doesn't remember this part, or it will
Wow.
You see the blood in the back of the head?
Yeah, that was terrible.
But he won a lawsuit.
It was a
yeah,
lawsuit.
right?
That was a big lawsuit.
There was no tapping back then. Like there was no now you see everybody knows you just do that and it's finished. They do that in street fights now. I've seen footage of that, like where two guys are fighting, one guy grabs it, and the guy just taps. And sometimes it works, and sometimes this ain't USC, motherfucker.
Well, but that chokehold is devastating.
It's
It could
terrible.
crack your windpipe. I mean, it's really devastating hold that you were taught.
So
Don't show me.
using the
Why do you keep looking at me?
Yeah, Cooney's backing up.
I want you to remember it. You might get, some sissy will pick on you and you won't know what to do.
We're being told we got to wrap this.
Oh, boy.
We're just running out of time.
And Jerry, we have to promote Jerry's promoting.
Yes, please.
At the fight, it's Mondays and Fridays, 6 to 8 p.m. on Rush 93 on Sirius XM.
With Randy Gordon.
With Randy Gordon. And I want to do that. We're trying to coordinate me doing that. I'm dying to do that show.
Come on.
Jerry, and he's a great talker, and I'm
Come
sure
on
it's a
in.
good show. I'd love to.
Ali didn't know me the last time I saw him.
That's so sad.
No?
He didn't know anybody. I mean,
I don't know who you are
He
now.
probably knows you, but he has no expression.
Yeah.
Expression's gone. He probably knows you inside.
It was a big event at night. He was part of it. They had built a little stage. They opened the curtain. It was the Norman Mailer Writing Awards night.
Right.
And as you know, Mailer thought himself as a great pugilist, as he almost demonstrated on one show. But Ali looked like him. And the curtain opened, and this great emperor was sitting there. Great look and dark glasses. And I would say, Ali, Dick Cavett. And I thought he fluttered a little bit.
Was this at the Mandarin Oriental?
Yes.
Because I met him the next day.
Yes.
The only time I've met Ali was I knew someone who ran his company, and I got my manager and I and this other guy got to spend 45 minutes with him in his hotel room with his wife Lonnie. And it was the day after that event at the Mandarin. He didn't,
And
he knows you. He knew you were there. He just doesn't have the expression.
It could be. He can't make an expression.
Yeah.
No, he talked a little bit the day I saw him. He was talking about a house in Chicago, and he kind of talked like that. He was whispering.
So slow.
And the guy said, yeah, he doesn't talk much anymore.
But, the sad part is that you've seen him when he's most expressive, the life in him. And then to turn out that way is very...
it's going to be hard.
Humbling.
Yeah.
I went to his training camp and got a great show out of that. And when I got there, he came into my little cabin. It was a rustic sort of training camp, as you know. And he had two guys with him. And Dick Cavett in my training, oh, my God, send him in. They had gotten two ugly girls. Paid them plenty, I guess, so that it was not insensitive. And he said, we'll leave him here for 20 minutes, Dick.
We really got to go.
We got to go. I want to just tell you guys, before we get off there, I've been looking for a fight with one of you guys. I don't know which one to start with. I mean, I can't, you're a Huntingtonian.
Fuck, we're from the same hometown.
All right,
you got to take out Jimmy.
What fight?
Yeah.
What, you just throw a punch, you mean?
You want one of us? Any one of us?
Yeah.
Sir, I should knock you ass over teacup.
Listen, guys, it's great to be with you.
You got to come back for a longer visit.
I'd love to come back.
That expression.
Yes.
Remember 93 Rush?
At the fights Mondays and Fridays with Gerry Cooney, 6 to 8 p.m. on Rush 93 here at Sirius XM.
We got the Hype Man, AK Barack. We got a lot of great shows on. So
I'm
I really want to do that show.
I want to check it out.
Great
love you guys. Love you guys.
Dick Cavett, I absolutely downloaded your book, Brief Encounters. I can't wait to dig into that.
You'll have a nice time.
I absolutely will. It sounds like it's a great one. And thank you, sir. DickCavett.show.com for all the old shows. They're starting to replay them.
And Gilbert, you are at Caroline's tonight?
Caroline's this Thursday. Caroline's on Broadway, 7:30. That's tomorrow. And I'll be at the Victoria Theater in Newark, New Jersey on Friday, and in April I'll be working with, on GilbertGottfried.com.
That's everything.
I'll be working with Richard Lewis. And I'll be Gilbert Gottfried's amazing, colossal podcast, GilbertGottfried.com. Subscribe on iTunes, and my Twitter's are real good.
And tell the audience who you think beat me out on the Grammy Award for Spoken Arts. Who won?
Nipsey Russell?
Jimmy Carter.
Oh my God! That's a great story for you, but not such a great one for Jimmy. Who'd you beat? Dick Cavett.
And he's telling it everywhere.
And Mark Norman will be at the Laughing Skull in Atlanta
tomorrow through Sunday.
Yes,
I will be in tomorrow. I'm going to be in Indianapolis, and then Friday I'm in Cleveland, and Saturday I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we're here tomorrow morning.
That's it.
You must have wheels on you.
Yeah, we're doing flying. And we're driving in between the gigs. Yeah.
Right, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
It is, yeah.
Not really. Not really. Not really. Come on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Opie, thank you.
Okay.
Jimmy, thank you.
Of course, buddy.
Dick, all you guys, Gilbert, thank you.
I'm Mark, by the way. Hey, Cooney, is
Great
it?
to see you. That's cool.